I mean, to be completely honest, it is in it is pure insanity how bad we, as in the United States government, it's insane how bad we are at regime change. We are piss poor also at nation building, obviously. This is the ultimate facepalm that I can think of. For one thing, the reason Trump and our administration were so confident about winning this offensive in Iran swiftly is because we believed that we had already struck a deal with a brand new government, new leadership in Iran that were going to be American friendly, that were going to basically let us have our way with the country. This new leadership, obviously, they wanted money. They convinced us that with a certain amount of money, they would sell out their government, they'll sell out their clerics. They even sold out the Ayatollah. They were hoping the US would come in, boots on the ground, the way they did in Venezuela. They would come in with 20 soldiers, exotic weapons, kill everyone, kill the leadership surgically, and then there'd be a big vacuum. And then the new leaders would pretend that they're just organically ascending to fill these roles. That did not happen. It didn't. So let's take a listen to what Michael Flynn said. We are so bad at this. This is it doesn't get any worse. When it comes to regime change operations, there's nothing organic. This is all GMO, right? We put new people in place to ascend to replace the Ayatollah, but because Israel doesn't listen and we were indiscriminately bombing, the new regime that we have been paying, the spies that were going to take over Iran and work for us, we inadvertently, accidentally killed all of them as well. So now the new leadership are actually the relatives of Ayatollah Khomeini, which essentially just defeated the entire purpose of wiping out the original regime that was already in place in Iran. Merry fucking Christmas. Let's take a listen.
And the latest that's coming in, former USA NSA General Mike Flynn has made a major claim. Iran's new supreme leader, Ali Reza Arafi, has also been killed. That's the latest breaking news here on News 9. Reports are saying that Iran's supreme leader was killed overnight in an Israeli strike. General Mike Flynn, Trump's former national security advisor, NSA, was quoted by Israeli media as saying this. That's the latest we understand. We're yet to confirm this piece of news. But former US NSA General Mike Flynn has made a major claim saying that Iran's new supreme leader, Ali Reza Arafi, has also been killed. We have
the new supreme leader, Ali Reza Arafi. That was our guy. That was our spy. That was the person who worked with us to sell out the Ayatollah, the clerics, the generals. That was the person who was going to be next in line to succeed. And it would seem natural. Kind of like, remember that TV show, what was it called? The Last Survivor, where basically they would have all the American government in one room, but they would leave one person to be the designated survivor in case something ever happened to everybody in the administration. They would be the next in line if you killed all 50 people in the American government. This guy was the one who was going to be next if the entire regime in Iran under the Ayatollah Khomeini just happened to pass away. The person we've been working with and bribing, the entire new structured government, we also accidentally killed them as well because we only have air superiority. One thing about life, things don't change. There's nothing new under the sun. It will never be a fact that you will be able to occupy a street corner or a district from the air. You're going to need boots on the ground. If you have boots on the ground, you can select who you kill. You can pick your targets. Not when you're dropping thousands of bombs from the air. You're not sure who or what else you're going to hit. You're not able to calculate the collateral damage. They were expecting American soldiers, Rambo, Master Chief, they were expecting them to show up, specifically kill only certain people while letting other people live to take over the new government and work with them. And then it would be everybody will live happily ever after. They were wrong. They inadvertently killed the people that we hired. They killed our allies. They killed our own guys. This is friendly fire. And they're not going to blame Israel, but who is it that has the history of just bombing people indiscriminately and not giving a shit who's on the opposite end, the receiving end of the bombs? It seems, I'll be honest with you, it seems like Israel is not our friend. Israel is doing any and everything they can to sabotage Trump, sabotage the country, destroy our dollar, weaken our military. It's almost as if there's a higher power that is hiring Israel, that they're pretending to be our friend, but they're just repeatedly stabbing us in the back. Because there's no way in hell something can be this well planned, and then the main characters that we're working with, they just accidentally get blown to smithereens as well. In my opinion, Netanyahu hates the United States. He hates the Americans. Obviously, they hate Christians. That's a part of the Torah or whatever the fuck toilet paper they read. They hate Christians. They always have. They always will. They don't like Americans. They just need us for our money. They need us for our weapons. They need us for our size. You know, we're bigger people. But the only thing we can get from them is intel. How do we get intel? Because of the Epstein technology. Now, I'm not exactly sure if it's true or not, but according to the Epstein files and his interview with Steve Bannon, what they developed at Zorro Ranch was, well, they were looking for technology using those scientists from the Manhattan Project after the fall of the Soviet Union. They recruited all those scientists. They were trying to use high energy physics and mathematics to develop a technology that could help them predict the stock market. Remember, Epstein was a financier, and that's what they were using their money for. They hired all those scientists. They were trying to figure out a way to explore some kind of dark realm of science that wasn't really, that no one's ever studied. If you watch the Steve Bannon interview, you'll understand. If you watch it completely, get out of all the stuff about fucking kids and all that sex stuff. Get that stuff out of your mind. Rewatch all these videos and only focus on the science. Do not let all the sex stuff distract you. Focus on what him and Maxwell were actually doing. You know they were professionals, right? You know they were highly educated, extremely well-connected professionals. They weren't just out here pimps and hoes driving around in Cadillacs, trafficking women. They were actually extremely highly intelligent people who were working on extremely sensitive research and government programs. So rewatch these videos and focus on the science. Epstein, they said they spent 15 years at Zorro Ranch doing this research, and they never told you if the research was successful or not. But what they did say is all of a sudden he figured out a way to win the lotto twice. And because he's working for Israel, their country has never been destroyed, and they seem to always be a few steps ahead of their enemies. Now, if that's the kind of technology they're sharing with the United States, now us kissing their ass and giving them all this money all these years, it starts to make sense. That's the only benefit I can even remotely think of being allies or dealing with Israel. They offer us nothing. Even the other day, we had American troops that were injured on a boat, and we had to make some repairs to one of our ships. We tried to pull into Israel with our ship. They would not allow us to dock there. We had to go all the way to a base in Turkey. During the Afghanistan war, when we had to get American soldiers airlifted out of Afghanistan, we would have to go to Raya or to Kaiserslautern in Germany. But that's 8 hours away. Why couldn't we just go 30 minutes to Tel Aviv or to Jerusalem to a hospital? If they're our allies, why could we not be treated in Israel when we were having injuries on the battlefields? They are not our allies. They're actually our enemies. You ever had a friend that you thought was your good friend, but you always found out they were talking behind your back and trying to sabotage your relationship or get you fired from your job? Yeah, that friend is Israel. That's who Israel is. So again, you can never equate something with incompetence that could be just on purpose. They did not accidentally kill the new leadership. I believe they killed them on purpose to sabotage peace talks. They want the U.S., who is going to sustain the heaviest losses, and we're going to sustain the worst economic impacts of these wars. Iran, how did they not know that Iran had the capability to fight 15 separate countries at once? I don't know if you guys have been watching the latest footage, but they are beating the dog shit out of Israel as we speak. They probably tomorrow or tonight are going to put a new asshole in Dubai. They're already attacking the oil fields. They understand that for Iran, winning this war is not necessarily even what they're trying to do. They just want to survive. The best way to survive is to get the Americans and the Israelis to back off. What's the only way you're going to be able to do that? You're going to have to make the consequences economic. They're going to have to bomb for one thing, last night or yesterday morning, they hit the largest oil refinery in the world in the UAE. They hit it hard. Some reports said it was fully destroyed. Other reports said it was heavily damaged. You got to understand, it's going to take months of peace, consistent peace, for them to even start doing the repairs. These facilities, once they were built, they were never rebuilt. So who knows how long that's going to take? We don't understand the full damage that is being constructed because, well, we're still in the fog of war. And to be honest, we don't have boots on the ground. So we're taking second and third hand accounts from people who are there, who speak other languages. And what if they have different motives? We don't have Americans on the ground to analyze and look at these situations for ourselves. We're taking people's words for it. And we don't know whose side they're on. Yes, they might work in conjunction with us, but that was before the Ayatollah was killed. Remember, the Ayatollah is the equivalent of the Pope in the Catholic world. So people who might have been working with us and allied with us, now they could be working against us, and they could just feed us bad information so that we'll make a horrible decision. We don't know. We're in the fog of war. But all we know is this: they're not telling us the truth. I'm looking at independent journalists on Telegram. Some of these videos I can't even play on my YouTube. I don't want to get striked or whatever. And these videos are going to get demonetized regardless. So I do appreciate the cash apps and the help. That's why I get up in the middle of the night so I can have these conversations with my audience and people here in the United States, other Americans. But we're in the fog of war. We don't know everything, but we know they're lying to us about how many soldiers are dead. They're lying to us about the damage that's being had and where they're being hit. Iran knows all of our strategic sites. They know our bases. And I'll be honest, I'm just waiting for them to start hitting Israel with bunker busters, because apparently a lot of their citizens are still living underground. They haven't used any bunker busters to try to hit the Jews that are in those bunkers. I wonder when that's going to start. And how many bunker busters is it going to take for Israel to call uncle and ask Trump to stop? But I think that's already happened, because Trump's been asking for a ceasefire for 3 days, and Iran said, why stop now? You guys are already trying to kill us. We know, everyone knows, it's already public news. They're talking about it on the on all the news channels around the world. We don't have the artillery to sustain this fight for more than 2 weeks. Why don't we? Well, we're fucking idiots. The West overall has demilitarized ourselves when we were sending all of our money, weapons, ammunition, artillery, tanks, jets, when we sent everything to the Ukraine just for the Russians to find out where it was being stored and housed and to obliterate it from orbit. The Russians knew where all the depots were. They would store this equipment in the Ukrainian borders like idiots, and the Russians would destroy it. We gave everything we had to the Ukraine because they were pretending that they stood a snowball's chance in hell against the Russian Federation. See, right now, Iran is attacking 15 countries, but when it was Russia, they fought 30. They fought 30 countries that were in NATO all at once. 30 different nations in NATO were sending mercenaries and having them wear Ukrainian uniforms to fight the Federation. The Russians won. They destroyed 3 separate armies in the Ukraine. That war has been over. And all the weapons and equipment that we sent there has been since destroyed. Now we don't even have enough rockets to sustain this battle for more than a week and a half, 2 weeks. So where does that leave us? We're running out of weapons, but the Iranians are not. Even the Russians and the Chinese said, we are not joining the fight because the Iranians don't need our help. Sure, they're being bombed, but that doesn't mean shit. Their weapons are still working and they are heavily inflicting damage on the West. And the West is going to have to make these repairs. See, the Iranians are fighting to survive. This is an existential threat. This is an optional battle for the Americans. We don't even know. We still are confused as to why Trump brought us into this bullshit. None of it makes any sense. And he hasn't even gave us a good reason. We're actually going to listen to what Rubio said. He said we went into this to help Israel, and I think they're going to throw Israel under the bus. All I'm praying is that after this debacle, we re-examine our relationship with Israel, and maybe having technology that can see into the future by a few weeks, maybe it's not even as valuable or worth as much as what it's costing us right now. American lives, American money, our American reputation around the world. I don't think it's worth it. But anyway, the guy we recruited, the guy who sold out his country, and the guy who we made him rich, he has a bank account somewhere probably in the UK full of money from us for selling out his people. Well, he's dead. So that defeats the entire purpose. So we're going to hear with Michael Flynn. He's going to confirm my story, what I'm saying. So take a listen.
Our managing editor, Kartikeya Sharma, now joining us on the phone line for more. Kartikeya, talk about this. Is a massive claim from the former NSA of the US.
Oh, absolutely. Mike Flynn, in fact, just to put it on record, Mike Flynn, the former National Security Advisor to Donald Trump, has tweeted this. He's the one who has put it on record, saying that the new leader has been bumped off, Ali Raza. Now, if Ali Raza Arafi has been bumped off, it's like taking out one layer after another by the US forces and the Israeli forces. And I think this is a big news coming in for one simple reason, because it means that no one is safe within the Iranian establishment. That's number one. And secondly, if this is the target of the American and the Israeli military action, it means that they want to entirely take down the political infrastructure or the political military infrastructure of Iran in context of its apex leadership. And when I say infrastructure in terms of human resource, they took down the chief of the nuclear program, they took down the defense minister, Khamenei was taken down. If Khamenei's successor has been taken down, you are depleting Iran of a leadership structure. It tells us 2 or 3 things. One, what the Iranians have done in UAE is something which has not gone down well. It has in fact united entire West Asia against Iran. And Iran is not hitting the military assets there. Iran is actually hitting the commercial assets in UAE, or Palm Jumeirah, for example, or Burj Khalifa. Those are hotels. So basically, he was trying to hit at the beating heart of the economy of West Asia: airports, hotels, hospitality industry. So I think intense action is seen on part of the United States of America and Israel. There's going to be a press briefing at 6:30 p.m. tonight. That's number one. Secondly, this killing, as tweeted by General Mike Flynn, can have a cascading effect because, Iran is really pushed to the corner. Either they say, okay, there is a ceasefire, but they lose legitimacy in front of their people because this regime is fighting a battle not for Iran. And I'm using the word regime because IRGC is not an elected body. IRGC was constituted in 1979 to save the ideals of the revolution by Ruhollah Khomeini, who was succeeded by Mr. Khamenei in 1989. So, we are talking about an organization that is supposed to protect the revolution. So, and how does it protect the revolution? Through brute force. And what is the arm of that brute force? The arms are Quds forces, Basij, which is an internal parliamentary forces. Other forces, they can, they come and go, for example, Navy or the military or Air Force. Those are independent, autonomous forces, but they are subservient to the larger interests of IRGC, which almost functions like Pakistani army. They are the new landlords of Iran. They have the big business interests. They control the foreign policy. They have the basic contracts. In fact, you would be surprised to know that the people who served in IRGC even went on to become the president of Iran. Ahmed Janab was one of the IRGC generals. So, what is happening right now is unprecedented. The world is divided because this is Venezuela to the power of 10. In Venezuela, they took away Maduro and his wife, and they went to America. But this time, they're actually eating into the superstructure of the state.
No, I'm reading some of the comments. I'll be honest with you. It's not that some of us are defending. There's nothing to defend. If anything, we all should agree that every nation has a right to defend itself. That's something that should be universally agreed. And if we say that this country has a right to defend itself because we took it upon ourselves to attack them first, I'm wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat. I'm obviously MAGA. I'm America first. Us attacking another sovereign country because why? Because a bunch of women in their country are saying, well, we want to do OnlyFans. We want to sell vagina. We want to be gay with other women. And our oppressive regime, they're making us be wives and mothers. Free us. You mean to tell me American soldiers are dying and we're losing billions of dollars per day so that a bunch of Iranian women can grow armpit hair and fucking scissor each other? It's not worth it. They have their own way of life. If we don't agree with their way of life, how about we don't fucking go there? If those people who live in that country, if they want to be gay that bad, move to another country. But we don't go in there and let's conduct a regime change where we are risking our reputation, American lives, American soldiers, and American resources for nothing. It's already came out. There were no plans by the Iranians to attack the United States. They don't give a fuck about us. We're on the other side of the world. They hate America because America's funding a genocide in Gaza. America's surrounding all these Islamic countries and invading and bombing them to smithereens. Did you know the first heart transplant took place in Baghdad? Imagine you can't even make a ham sandwich in Baghdad anymore. That's how far back the United States with our war, that's how far back we sent their people. What about Libya when we assassinated and killed Gaddafi on TV? How's that country doing right now? All right, you got any vacation packages? You got a timeshare in Libya? I don't think so. So it's not, so us using common sense and not just blind fealty is not us supporting Iran. It's us supporting America by saying this is not in our best interest. It serves us no purpose. Now, did we complain when the United States was going to go after the cartels? Fuck no. Did we really complain about Venezuela? Fuck no. They're in our hemisphere. They are actual threats on our border. Their actions are affecting Americans individually. Hundreds of thousands are dead. I've lost so many friends in California to fentanyl poisoning. So I support what makes sense. If there was a threat in Canada, if there was poisonous fucking maple syrup, I'd say kick the Canucks in the ass and let's go there too. But not halfway to the other side of the fucking world. A bunch of people in open-toe sandals dressed like Aladdin. We should just go ahead and blow up their shit. For what? For what? And Trump, the reason you know it's bullshit, because he's the most transparent person on earth. He won't even tell us. That's a problem. So you have to understand, you can't just be blind loyalty is foolish. As Americans, as obviously as Trump supporters, conservatives, we're analytical. If we're going to just be in a cult where we just repeat after what somebody else says, well, then we'd be Democrats, and we're not. So you got to keep in mind what's going on.
A lot of countries are worried. And the third consequence is that there is a message that is going out, Krishna, that whatever be the close axis of...
Yeah, liberals were complaining about blowing up drug boats, but not the rest of us. I thought it was cool as shit. I think it's very cool. Yes, we should have been destroying drug boats. I mean, because think about all the Americans that are filling up our prisons because of drugs. Well, then that means those same rules should be applied to everyone, even those who are transporting it into our country. It shouldn't just be for American citizens. Everyone's going to have to feel the consequences. But we're in international waters. And those are not American citizens. I'm not sure what you expect us to do, but we don't owe them a jury of their peers and a judge. That's not how it works. So I didn't complain about that. I supported it because it made sense. It was in our hemisphere. Iran is not in our hemisphere. That's in Israel's hemisphere, and they should handle their own candle. That has nothing to do with us at all.
Iran, Russia, and China, they are not able to protect them.
Yeah, everyone knows the CIA is a drug cartel. The problem is there's nothing we can do about it because they are so well protected because they're one of our intel agencies. I guess they are more valuable. There's more good about them for the government than there is bad. But are they actively working against Americans? Absolutely. I'll be honest with you, I'm not even understanding the benefit of the CIA anymore because we're still on the receiving end of a lot of losing battles. So I don't see the purpose. The FBI, I don't see the purpose anymore. Every state has its own federal agency. Every state should be able to handle its own federal jurisdiction or crimes. The FBI was basically just a tool used to go after Americans. They're not going after terrorists or people from other countries. They typically target Americans, but if you already have law enforcement in your state that goes after Americans, the FBI just seems redundant. I'm not calling for less law enforcement. I'm calling for stronger states' rights when it comes to enforcing their own laws and federal laws. That's what I'm calling for.
Chinese were not able to protect Maduro despite the delegation being there. Iranians are unprotected despite complete Russian support and the Chinese support. In fact, there's a very interesting thing which you would have noticed.
Oh no, the UK is in fucked up shape. The UK is the UK is destroyed. You guys have been invaded. Keir Starmer sold you out. Farage sold you out, and you guys have no freedom of speech. If you're white and you speak on the internet, they will arrest you, and then they'll let a Muslim rapist out of jail just to make room for the white people that they want to put in there because, well, they're ethnically cleansing you. And that's a part of the World Economic Forum agenda. You've been overrun. You've been invaded. You don't have sovereignty anymore, and you're not Americans. You guys don't have the balls. You don't have the strength. You don't have the weaponry it was going to take to physically remove these people. Remember, these are people coming from the third world, and they're not gay. A lot of you guys are gay, no offense. So you're weaker. You're smaller. You're not as aggressive. These men dressed like Jafar and wearing sandals will kick the dog shit out of a lot of you because you're so afraid of being called racist, or you have this weird white guilt. We have it in the United States. It's a really good thing. It turns out all these years, the strongest weapon against a white person is shame. Guns, ammos, wars, grenades. That doesn't mean shit to them. Only thing white people care about is being shamed, especially your women. So that's a huge exploit that you guys might want to figure out a way to close it or to secure it so that you can save yourselves. But yeah, the UK is in a bad position. So is Australia. They're cooked. Canada's cooked because you guys are all under the World Economic Forum now. You guys are with the globalists. And the United States is still controlled by the Zionists and the Israelis. So you see Sheinbaum, she's a Zionist to the south. Canada is the globalist to the north, and the United States is in the middle, and they're basically two boyfriends fighting over the girl. America's arsenal, we're the girl. So they all want control over the American arsenal. The only way to have it is you got to get the Zionists out of the way, and that's why you see so much happening with that group. They lost. Remember, New York was a strong Zionist. New York was a Zionist stronghold for years, and now the World Economic Forum set up a beachhead. They put Mandami there. They're bringing in the Muslims, Sharia law, and now the Zionists have all had to flee to South Florida. That's one of their last strongholds. They have a small pocket on the West Coast in LA, but that's it. That's it. So they're losing this battle. And unfortunately, that's not good for the UK, for any of the European countries. That's very bad for them. So now you guys understand that too.
China had built this doctrine of access denial to aircraft carriers.
No, Trump's not going to liberate us from elections. He's just going to make sure that only Americans vote in the elections going forward. And what that's also going to show us is that we don't really have 320 something million Americans. At most, we probably have 240, because both Democrats and Republicans have both been adding fake voters to their rolls on both sides so that they can keep winning elections. Each year, well, we're gonna just add 5 million here. We're gonna have 5 million, and eventually it adds up to where you think you have an extra 100 and something million humans that don't even exist. So we're gonna learn that now that we have identification in elections that are required, because even our census is not properly counted. We don't know how many illegals are here, and they count you. They don't count you. They don't give you congressional seats based on citizenship. They give you congressional seats based on how many warm bodies are in your state, whether you're a citizen or not. So once we can calculate how many actual voters there are because they have ID, then we'll know how many Americans there actually are in these states. In the country, we actually right now, we have a false number.
This doctrine was being implemented by the Iranians, and this.
Yeah, New York is drowning in Sharia law, but let's look at the bright side. At least there won't be any more feminists, because Sharia law Islamist men will punch them in the fucking face. So a lot of these women are going to dye their hair back to either being black or blonde. They're not going to do the septums. They're not going to be gay for much longer. They're going to be looking for a man to protect them. They're going to look for a kitchen where they can make sandwiches. They're going to be trying to find a husband so they can have kids. They're going to want the protection of a man. They're going to need it to survive, because you're not going to have police anymore under Mandami. They're already demoralizing, disrespecting. The police already know you can't arrest anyone anymore or you'll lose your job. So you're not going to be able to lean on the police for a false sense of protection. You're going to need a man. You're going to need a husband. So there are some bright sides to Sharia law. So you got to, and there's going to be less gay kids. There's not going to be trans kids. There's not going to be little boys wearing tutus doing the RuPaul drag race dances. That's going to be a thing of the past. So you got to look at the bright side of the Sharia law taking over in the Islam push. That's going to help Americans get rid of feminism and the gay agenda, and that will, and we'll be able to have our families back. There is a silver lining. It's not all bad. So, we got to take the good with the bad. We got to also look at what are the positive parts of it, because that's happening regardless. The mayor just got in. They're flooding the city. Those people, they put a bunch of Muslims in the hotels. Now that he's the mayor, they're letting them out. They're putting them in places, and they're taking over. So that's going to spread to other parts of the country. I don't know why people want to reject it. I think we need that push, because there's been nothing else we've had that could do anything against feminism and the gay agenda. The gay agenda took your kids. Feminism took your wife. We kind of need Sharia law to kind of bring things back into focus. That's just my opinion. I sleep on it. It might sound crazy hearing me say this right now in the middle of the night on the internet. Sleep on it. If you have a better suggestion, come back to me tomorrow. Matter of fact, subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'm reading the comments. If you have a counter argument where you're saying, no, that's not going to happen, blah, 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 put it in the comments. I'll read it. We'll talk about it. But at least sleep on what I just said. We need help. We're losing our country to the gay agenda and to feminism. That's our real war, our real fight. Our real fight's not with Islamic terrorists. Our fight's not really with any of these other fake threats. Our fight is against the gay community, the black community. There are certain elements in this country that are ripping us to shreds. There's feminism, the gay community, and the black community are the only things we have to fight here in the United States if we're going to hold on to our country and our sovereignty Those are only two things we've got to fight, but that's all domestic. So sleep on it. Okay, because right now there's no other suggestion. We're all three of those are kicking the shit out of us here in the U.S. And I don't know if we're going to be able to survive another 5 years. So it's a good thing that they're bringing those people in because they're not going to stand for it, obviously.
Was sort of a gaming which the Chinese were watching, but in fact the Chinese deterrence has failed. And you know why I'm saying it? Because none of the American ships are down.
I said sleep on it. Don't start rejecting what I'm saying so fast. Sleep on it. It's gonna have to rattle around your simple brain for a little while. You're so used to just hearing what people want to hear. People get on this internet and they'll just tell you whatever makes you feel good, something warm and cozy. I don't have that type of conversation. My audience and the people who follow me, they're here because we talk to each other candid. Like it's just us in the room. We're not sitting here trying to position the conversation so that we can make money and so that we can make it so that it's appealing to everybody. Only those who think at a certain level with a certain IQ over a certain amount are going to understand anything that I'm saying. To everyone else, it's going to be too complex and you're going to reject it. I.e., there are perfect examples in the comments right now. Those of us who are on the same page as me, we see this. It doesn't insult us. It's not a deterrent. They just don't know any better because it's hard for them to process data. A lot of these people that are in your comments that are so negative, a lot of these people are autistic. They reject new information. Just like when they were in school, the teacher would ask them to come read up from the board and they'd want to flip their desk over and storm out of class. Not because they can't read. It's just that reading gives them a headache because they're autistic. It's brain swelling. It's vaccine injury. So it's not like, and those people don't just die. They grow up and become adults, and then they jump into your comments and they say negative things because to think it hurts. It gives them a headache. So we must give them grace. Don't attack them back. Just let them speak. They can't help it.
Iranian ships are down. And with this killing taking place, I think it's a straight message which is going to the Iranian leadership. Either you stop the violence or they're going to take down the state through aerial power without committing any boots on ground. So I would say that by hitting our UAE, Bahrain, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, I think they have repeated the mistake of Saddam Hussein. And when I say they repeated the mistake of Saddam Hussein in 1991 and in...
No. For one thing, Iran is not Iraq. Saddam Hussein did not have the military capability or the military might or the military size as the Iranians do. So if Saddam tried to do these things, he has limited resources, limited strength. Iran is a lot stronger. They don't have those same restraints. So you cannot compare the two. Iran has 5 times the population. There's over 100 million people over there. Okay, it's not a weak, small country. It's a huge place that's heavily protected from mountains. There is not going to be a boots on the ground invasion. The United States military doesn't have the personnel. If you go look, okay, to be honest with you, they might send boots on the ground into Iran, but not for the reason you think. Unfortunately, our military, our ranks have been poisoned by a Marxist communist ideology. There are certain things legally Pete Hegseth was able to do to try to purge that from our American military. He created a more mental aptitude assessment where if you were trans, then you're confused. They were able to legally purge the trans people out of the military. The problem is the blacks that are Marxists and communists that hate the country but are still getting a check because they signed up for military service, not because they love the country, but because they love money. You're not able to just remove them from the military because you have the 19th Civil Rights Act. There's all these different protections based on race. That mental ideology, that mind virus, you can't vote it out of somebody and you can't talk it out of them. It has to be destroyed. I'm noticing the troops that have died so far were a bunch of black kids, gay ones. I think they're going to, and I'm noticing on TikTok and Twitter, all these black gay women are saying, oh, I'm getting deployed. And I'm like, wow, a lot of blacks, 9% of the population. Sure are a lot of you guys being called up to go over there. I think they're going to send them into the grinder because that's the only way we can get out. That's the only way we can purge that poison out of our military. There is no other legal way to do it. I think they have to. So I'm doing another video about that in a few hours. Some people are going to understand what I'm saying. Some people are going to reject it, but I'm not here to win a popularity contest. I'm here to speak about my opinion. I'm going to reinforce my opinion, and I'm going to explain how I got to that point. And I'm just going to tell you guys what I'm thinking. So yeah, there might be a limited boots on the ground, but it's only going to be a lot of blacks and a lot of gay soldiers they're going to send so that they can, so we can purge that poison from our ranks. We're going to have to. Other than that, we're not going to do any large scale invasions. It's not, we don't have the capability to do so. These soldiers aren't going to survive that do try to go in there. So you got to keep that in mind. We got to kind of make the best of this. And, 3 or 4 birds with one stone, it sounds like a good idea to me.
2003, Saddam Hussein attacked every adjoining country with Scud missiles. What happened? Everyone said, we stand by.
Well, that's your opinion. Kala Tirak won. Guess what? You're entitled to it. You're more than welcome to have it and to keep it. Not going to argue with you. Maybe you're right. Who knows?
The U.S. operation. The same thing has been done by the Iranian regime. They are attacking everyone, and other countries have also united. Now, the difference in the last 25, 30 years is that 80% of the people who work in UAE are Indians, Egyptians, Pakistanis. Our economic interests are tied. Our Prime Minister.
I don't think it's possible to be anti a color. I have a box of crayons right here with multiple colors. I haven't thrown any of the colors out. So I'm not against any colors. I'm against the left.
Sympathize with the attack, with the premier of UAE.
Well, Andy, in my opinion, unfortunately, I'm a part of a think tank, and when you're a part of think tanks with other people who are not emotional, you guys come up with different solutions and different proposals. In our proposals, where we remove all emotional input, and we're going off of what's the logical best assessment for the outcome that we want in the future. So that's why it seems rather brass or harsh, but it's because we're not emotional, we're logical. So and we're not doing this to make people feel good. We're trying to do what's best for the country in the long run. That ideology to be destroyed, along with the people that house it, is what's going to be best for our country in the long run.
He said the sympathies are with the UAE. The world is.
They tell you can vote your way into communism. You can't vote your way out. Right now, President Trump is starving the people of my home country, which is Cuba. We are being starved as I speak right now. Again, that ideology of communism, of Marxism, it must be purged. There is no reconciliation. There's no voting your way out of it. There's no talking those people out of wanting that way of life. It must be purged. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's my home country, and it hurts, but it's necessary. The pain, unfortunately, is a requirement for growth. It takes iron to sharpen iron. They had plenty of time to change their ways. They chose not to. They are going to die protecting their communist Marxist ideology. That's their choice. There are elements in our American military. There's elements in our American society. It's going to have to be purged. There's only one way to do it. There is no talking or negotiating us out of those situations, which is unfortunate because I wish there was. Wish there would just be a button I could press, and that communist Marxist bullshit where you believe in racism and all these other things that are just made up and imaginary. I wish I could press a button and it would just bleed out of their ears and they would just go back to being Americans or humans. But unfortunately, we don't have that option.
Has been forced to take sides, so it's a very important development. Mike Flynn tweeting that in the former NSA to take down the person who has been succeeded. I'm not surprised. The Israelis.
Yeah, it is pretty retarded. A lot of people I've met that went to college were retards. When you go to college, it's kind of like when you go to the military. You don't go there because you're smart. You go there because you need someone to tell you what to do. You need a daddy. If you're a person who needs structure because you're not able to manage yourself, you need someone else of authority to tell you what to do. See, when I wake up in the morning, no one has to tell me, Rico, make your bed. Rico, clean up. Rico, go sit at your desk and get to work. Rico, deal with your customers. I have my own company. People think, oh, when you have your own business, you don't work for anybody. And that's not true. I work for my customers. There's no one above me to tell me to go do this. I manage myself. Everybody doesn't have that ability. Some people need structure. For example, women, for the most part, a lot of women need structure. That's why they want a man. They need a man to tell them, hey, do this, do that. They don't want to just be out here freestyling it on their own. It's not meant for everyone. That's the reason why 98% of the people in this country work for 2% of us. Everyone's not able to do that. So when you see people that are going to college and they're spending all this money and they're even dumber than they were when they went in, it's because they were thinking, oh, if I just go sit in this classroom for a bunch of years, as soon as I'm done, they're going to offer me a job. You didn't think it through because that wouldn't have made sense. You just listened to somebody else tell you that that's what's going to happen. You didn't think for 5 seconds, you thinking over the years, you would have figured out that's not going to happen. Or you could have just listened to your counterparts that were 4 years older than you and see how they turned out. That's why that, again, that's not for people that are smart, it's for people that need guidance. And some of us just don't really need much guidance.
And Americans are too good at this business. But the fact is that this is not a small thing.
That is correct. Unions are a form of communism, but it's not a government. It's not a government policy communism. It's a optional communism. You can be a part of the union or you can quit. But when it's a government policy, the only way you can quit is if you have a bay of pigs and they allow you to leave. My country is a country that you have to escape from because we actually have communism and fascism. In the United States, they try to say it's a fascist government, but fascist governments don't have airports that operate internationally. You can't fly away from fascism. In America, you can just get the fuck out. If you don't like our policies, you don't like the way our way of life, leave. You think we wanted to vaccinate all these people? You think we wanted these people who are communists over here and Marxists? You think we wanted to do this? We did. We gave them every option to move back to Africa. They could have took a flight to Ghana or to Kenya or to Nigeria. There's no Trump. There's no ICE. There's no racism and oppression, but they refuse to leave. Like Carmelo Anthony. They caught him under the tent, stealing from those kids' bags. Austin Metcalf and his friend said, hey, leave. Instead of leaving, he stabbed him in the chest. It's the same thing we're dealing with here. They have to be purged. There is no other option. So there are people that have to make the bigger decision. Epstein's research and Kamala's influence, we got the job done, but it had to be done. There was no other way to do it. This was the only way.
Absolutely. Kartikeya, stay with us for all those tuning into this broadcast. The big breaking story here on News9. The former National Security Advisor, General Mike Flynn of the US, has made a major claim. Iran's new supreme leader, Ali Reza Arafi, has also been killed, according to him.
So now the new leader is going to be the brother of Khomeini. So again, it just defeated the entire purpose of this invasion and of these strikes. We are back to square one. Nothing was accomplished, except now the world respects Iran a whole lot more. And I don't even think that people are going to look at Dubai and the UAE as the leaders of the Middle East anymore. I think the entire Middle East is going to look to Iran for leadership, for guidance. Iran was the first brave soul to fight back against the United States and Israel at the same damn time. Everyone else in the Middle East they got their ass kicked by the Americans, and now America has bases in their country. They were launching attacks from those countries against Iran, and Iran made them all pay. These countries are now going to envy Iran. They wish they had that type of strength. You have no choice but to respect it. This isn't about being a patriot or not. This is about just having an unbiased opinion by just looking at the facts, but also analyzing the results. As of right now, Iran has the results. They survived. America thought that we would go in there And 3 days later, there'd be regime change and the Iranian people. It'd be a bunch of naked Iranian women doing OnlyFans in 2 weeks, and they'll be so happy. And the young gays in Iran who are mad that they're being arrested or killed for being gay, well, now the gays are going to overthrow the government. That's not going to happen. And now Iran, if they're smart, they're going to do this. They're going to go on the internet and they're going to look at all the different accounts on TikTok and Twitter that have been on there burning pictures of the Ayatollah and talking about how they're celebrating because look at all the people celebrating. It's all just gay women that live in Iran. The government has not cracked down on them being gay, but they're going to have to now because remember, it was those same gay people in Iran that were begging the U.S. to come in and overthrow their government. And they're saying, hey, we're going to replace them. We're going to help you guys. The problem is when the gays in Iran started their assault against the government, it took the Americans in Israel 2 weeks to actually start bombing. The timing was off. Those kids have now since been executed. But the remaining ones who were not involved in the riots, but now they're celebrating because the Ayatollah is dead and they're on there stripping off their clothes and the government and the Iranian government is going to have to find them all of them. They're going to have to now profile and they're going to have to hunt down every gay activist, every gay person in Iran looking for allies. They're going to have to find every single one from every corner of the country. And they're going to have to make an example out of all of them. See, I keep telling people the way it works in the real world is if you don't like the government that you're living under, instead of trying to change the government by rioting and protesting, you actually just change the government that you live under by changing the country you're in. Because you're going to die trying to fight whatever country you're living in because that's their way of life. If you live in a country that is secular, they don't believe in the gay agenda, they don't believe in being a pedophile, they don't believe in women having sex because they believe in humanity. They believe it's man, woman, child. Men and women get married, they have children, they keep their population going, it's stability. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to be a mother. You don't want to be a wife. You want to be gay. If that country doesn't allow it, the best thing for you to do is apply for asylum in a country that does allow it. The Russians said it a few years ago. They said the world conflict going forward is going to be about one thing. It's going to be countries that allow pride parades versus countries that restrict them. Iran is a country that restricts pride parades. And also so is Russia. And so is China. But if you look at what happened in the Ukraine went gay. Zelensky is a cross-dresser who is a man who was famous for playing the piano with his penis and wearing a leotard and women's high heels doing dances with other gay men. So the Ukraine, they looked to the West because they thought that sexual liberation and homosexuality was freedom. A lot of people in Iran are thinking the same things. We want to be gay. We want to be homosexual. We want to be prostitutes. We want to strip naked and be on the internet, but they have strict morality laws. You have to be covered up. You have to have a sense of self-respect. They have these rules in Iran. But the people in Iran, they think that the way we live here in the West is liberating and it's free. The women here in the West, however, they've had sexual liberation for 30 years? Now they're crying and they're saying men in the West should not have allowed them to liberate themselves sexually. We shouldn't have allowed, because now men don't want to have children with them because they used to be hoes or prostitutes, whatever. Men don't want to marry them because of their past and their promiscuity. And a lot of men now have passports, and we are finding wives in other countries that don't allow the debauchery. So a lot of the women here are being left on their own, or a lot of them are single mothers. We don't have families here in the West anymore. In Iran, they still do. In Russia, they still do. In Ukraine, they don't anymore. See, the way you take over and destroy the world is you have to destroy the family. See, we're humans. No matter how much technology we have, we're just people. And the way you make a country strong, the way the ultimate thing you could do for humanity is to be fruitful and multiply, for you to get married, for you to have kids. That's how humans have always lived. But see, you think because we live in the future, well, instead of watering my grass with water, we're in the future. We have something better than water called Gatorade. Let me start watering the grass with Gatorade. Let me reinvent the wheel. And it doesn't work. So there's a lot of people in Iran who want to reject humanity. They don't want to be mothers anymore. They don't want to be wives. They see that as being slaves. So they want to leave the country. But instead of leaving the country, they worked deals with the Americans and they were saying, hey, we'll spy for you. We'll help you destroy our country so that we can be gay. We'll help you destroy our leadership because in Iran's the cradle of civilization. This is where the Sumerians originated. We'll help you destroy it all just so we can be on OnlyFans and we can be women kissing each other in public. And this is why women have always been controlled and restricted throughout every society around the world, because our ancestors understood that you have to protect women from themselves. I was talking to a woman yesterday and she said it's men's fault because once they gave us sexual liberation, because men told us that, you know, we could do what we want, I started doing porn and now nobody will marry me. She told me that. She's 38 years old, beautiful girl, but she was a porn star from when she was 19 till she was like 28. Obviously, I'm still going to sleep with her. I'm not going to date her. I'm not going to marry her. I'm not going to do any of that. But she's beautiful. But she's blaming men now for giving her too much freedom. And she's not alone. That's how a lot of the women here in America are. See, that's the part of the whole liberation that they don't want to tell people in other countries that, well, what's going to be the outcome? See, we have 40 years of case study here in the United States. Other countries are going to be brand new to this. That's why I said this whole push to destroy Iran so that we can let these women be gay, because you don't see men celebrating. You see a handful of gay men celebrating, but for the most part, throughout the streets of all over the world, it's women of Iranian descent who are really happy. There's no men that are happy. Because if you're a man, you're like, okay, yeah, women are happy, but that's not a good sign when women are happy. That usually means that as a man, you're going to lose your family, you're going to lose your wife. That's the only time when a woman starts getting too happy, you're about to lose it all. You're going to lose everything in a divorce. You're going to lose your kids. You're going to lose your house. That's when you see women partying. That's not a good sign when women are the only ones celebrating something that just happened. That's just, that's just something for you to just keep in the back of your mind. That's just a rule of thumb, okay, if you will.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us. So with that update in perspective, Iran's supreme leader, the new replacement Iran supreme leader, Ali Reza Arafi, has been killed. That's the claim coming in from General Mike Flynn. He was a former national...
Exactly. Thank you. The biggest controversy. You've noticed it. Women are primarily the only ones in Iran celebrating. The handful of men I've seen, if you look at them close, they're gays. Like when they show you all the kids that were protesting that they executed a couple weeks ago, look at their pictures. Look at their images. They were all gay kids. They had rainbow flags on their clothing, on their backpacks. I'm not wrong. We're fighting a world war against gay people. We're fighting it right now because not because they're gay, but because they want access to kids. And we can't allow that. If they just wanted to get married and live in their own world, we wouldn't care. It's the whole, they don't really want to get married. They want your kids. That's the real thing. And they've announced it. They even have songs about it. So I'm not wrong about that. So you just didn't calculate that in. So bring that into your rationale when you're thinking about these topics, and maybe you'll come up with a different outcome.
Security advisor of Donald Trump, and he has been quoted by Israeli media as saying that the replacement of Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Ali Reza Arafi, has also been killed as we speak.
Yeah, this was the ultimate facepalm today. The people who we were going to put in power that were going to be friendly to us, Israel killed them because, in my opinion, Israel's trying to sabotage the United States. See, Netanyahu's not going to get blamed for shit. He's already supposed to be in prison. He's claiming now he has cancer, blah, blah, blah. His wife and kid are in Miami. No one's going to blame him for shit. everyone's going to blame Trump for every single thing. They're going to throw Trump under the bus. Trump's going to be blamed for everything. And Netanyahu's not going to share any of the blame. They're not our friends. They are our worst enemy. The Zionists, the Israeli regime, are worst enemies. And they did this on purpose. They killed these people on purpose to sabotage our goals in Iran. Now this is going to continue indefinitely, because even if we stop right now, we've accomplished zero of our goals, because the leadership that's going to take over now, that the ones we killed, they're not going to take over anymore. It's the same leadership that was there in the first place. Defeats the entire purpose. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you guys being here on the channel and supporting. I see I have new followers. Thank you guys. And I like your opinions, but also I wanted to give you my opinion. If what I'm saying resonate with you and it makes sense, subscribe to the channel. If you see that there is a push in a war where they're pushing homosexuality on your society, if you're noticing all the gay kids and you don't like it, and you're saying, okay, there's a pattern here, and I'm seeing that there's something nefarious going on, follow my channel. I've noticed it too. And we're trying to figure out ways to counter it. And we're trying to also figure out the source of it. We understand that they don't like Americans. They want us to kill ourselves. They want us to not have children. Strong families is what made our country strong in the first place. We no longer have families. We lost our kids to the homosexuality agenda. We lost our wives to feminism. And now it's just men with passports, and we have to leave our country just to have families. Don't you want to be able to have a family here in the United States again? Don't you want the laws here to change so that they're not predatory towards men? This is all connected. What's happening with our geopolitics versus what's happening here in the United States, it's all connected. And I'm sitting here doing my best to try to make the connections for you so you can see how there are patterns. If we have these conversations finally, like we're doing right now, just me and you talking, then we can actually enact change. But if you don't talk about it and you kind of brush it over and pretend it's not happening, well, it's going to just keep getting worse. We spent all these years not wanting to say anything because we didn't want to offend anybody. And where did that leave us? As Americans, where did that leave us? It left us in the dark. Our idiot president was played by Israel. I agree with you, Chip. You're not insulting me by calling Trump an idiot. MAGA is not make Trump great again. It's make America great again. MAGA is about the country. MAGA is about Americans. Trump's done an amazing job with bringing jobs back to the United States. Trump did an amazing job by getting rid of the illegals, so rents are going down. So my economy where I live is getting better. Crime is down 60%. Rents are down 30%. My friends are back to work. The ones who were getting welfare, the ones that were on government assistance because illegals were taking all their jobs. Well, the illegals are gone now. So our housing bubble is over. The demand for housing is gone. So now things are returning to stable levels. Trump did an amazing job with that. And thanks to Trump and ICE, we have a fighting chance here in the United States. That's the only issue is he becomes an idiot, just like everybody else does when it comes to Israel. Charlie Kirk, brilliant man. I love and respect Charlie Kirk. But for too long, smart as shit, except when it came to the country of Israel, he would just turn full retard. I'm talking drool, just fucking Lenny from Mice and Men, the water boy. Whenever you brought up Israel or Netanyahu, smart. Any other question, literally can explain anything else in detail. Brilliant, a brilliant mind. But all of a sudden, when you say the word Israel or Netanyahu, it's not just them. It's everybody, unfortunately. But when you're able to get over turning full retard when it comes to Israel, they knock you down. Kirk wasn't the first. Kirk wouldn't be the last. So yeah, when it comes to Israel, Trump's an idiot. A lot of people are in our government. Marjorie Taylor Greene's one of our only politicians who doesn't turn full retard, and Trump ran her away. So yeah, that does make Trump an idiot. I love the guy, but fuck, I don't agree with 100% with nothing anybody does, but he's making some really bad decisions when it comes to that. And we're going to need less yes men. So Vance is going to have to check him on that, or I mean, Hegseth is doing this good job. I want Hegseth just to focus on war. But someone's going to have to talk to Trump about this whole Israel thing. We're going to have to re-examine that relationship. I just hope that they don't pull the plug on Trump if he tries to pull back us in our relationship from Israel. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona right now, but I also live in Houston. So I live in Texas. Yeah, we live in America. Yeah, I do. I blame Israel, but also I blame the president as well because, well, 50% of a scam is the person who's scamming you. The other 50% is you convincing yourself that it's not a scam. That's why I say that. Yeah, and hopefully they'll stop all this. We want to. Someone called me a Nazi. Thank you. That's a compliment. You got to think about it. The Nazis were free Palestine before it was cool. So as long as you were against the Israeli occupation of Palestine, you can be technically called a Nazi because the Nazis were the first ones against the Zionists, if you think about it. So I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. I'd prefer compliments like that over donations. You don't even have to donate. Just leave me compliments like that. Thank you. Yeah, the Jews are also doing it. Facts. I appreciate it. I think that there are more people that are resonating with what I'm saying than there are gays who are infiltrated the chat who want to deny it. So that's good. That's a good sign right there. So I appreciate it. Like and subscribe, share the video. There's another topic I was going to bring up too that we can speak about. Let's Can you guys hear me? Are you guys there? Let me see if here can bring me back in. If you can hear me and you're there, put a 1 in the chat. Can you hear me now? Yeah, sorry, I didn't know what to do. This never happened before. I've never had StreamYard freeze up in the middle of a live. So I want to make sure that you guys can actually hear me. Or do I have to start completely over from scratch? That's what I'm wondering. Hopefully I don't got to start all the way over. Hopefully you guys. Okay, can you guys hear me better now? Yeah, no, I appreciate you. Thank you, Sheila, for the comment. Thank you. Yeah, Turkey is really Sharia law will be wrong. You cannot pick what you want. That's not true. You can actually pick and choose the parts of something that you like, and you can throw out the rest. Just like anything else with any other religion, you can keep the parts that you like, and you can throw out the rest. You don't have to accept every single thing. I'm not sure if this is glitching or if you guys are still here, but put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. If anybody's there that can hear me, press 1. That way I know you're still there. If not, then I'm going to end the stream and start a brand new one. Okay, fuck Trump. Mitch, can you hear me? McKenzie, are you there? Can you hear me, or you just see my hat? If you can hear me, press 1 or say, yeah, I can hear you. If you can hear me, then we can continue to oh, thank you. Okay, you guys are here. Sweet. So yes, when it comes to this, we got to say fuck Trump. Unfortunately, when it comes to this topic, he screwed the pooch when it came to attacking Iran on behalf of Israel. The fact that you let a smaller, weaker nation have enough leverage over you that they can get you to attack a country, not just 3 days ago, but also 6 months ago. And Iran gave them a bloody nose. Iran punched the shit out of Israel. Why are they in a hurry to do this again? And I think it's only because Netanyahu knows once the war stops, he goes to prison. He's already been convicted of corruption charges. So Netanyahu is going to jail. Israel has a history of locking up corrupt politicians. That's his fate. The problem is they have a rule where they can't lock you up during wartime. So it's in Netanyahu's best interest to keep a war going at all times. So that's why you're seeing what's happening over in Iran right now.
Inside Tehran. Moments later, explosion, thick smoke rising over parts of the capital, emergency vehicles racing through the streets, communication inside government circles suddenly going silent.
Now, this is the sad part. So Trump was happy. Trump was like, this is what Trump said, actually. Trump said, breaking news, Iran's new potential leadership has contacted us. But you got to think about it. We've already been paying them. They were our spies. We've already set up bank accounts for them. We have money. We can pay other politicians to turn against you. And you got to think about it. If you are a person who wants power and another stronger country says, hey, your competition over there, they're the only thing standing in the way of you and being in charge. We'll pay you. You tell us how to get them, where they live, their schedule. Once they're out of the way, you can take over. That's how it works around the country, around the world. That's what regime change is. It's never organic. It's always it's something that we are modifying and creating. So Trump was like, hey, the new potential leadership reached out to us, but we've already been talking to them. And then 6 hours later, we get this update. Breaking. Trump says potential candidates to lead Iran have accidentally been killed by the U.S. Face fucking palm. Ridiculous. The new leadership were accidentally killed. So there was no way for you not to bomb these people to smithereens. There's 100 million people in this country. What are the odds the 13 people who were going to take over as the new government? What are the odds out of 100 million, the 13 that were going to take over are all killed? That was Israel's doing. They did it on purpose. See, that's how it goes with intel sharing. We were sharing intel with Israel that, hey, we have a new guy that's going to take over. Israel's like, a new guy, you'd say. Really? Wow, that's great news. And they're writing this down. They send it to his people and say, find them, eliminate them. And Israel had those people killed. And the U.S. were saying, well, maybe it was done by us. Maybe we bombed them. It was Israel. It's always Israel. It will always be Israel. That didn't work in Iraq. Well, they tried it in Iraq. They definitely tried. There were other people that we had paid we paid people to go against Saddam. We paid people in his inner circle, and they ended up dying. The only ones who would not turn on Saddam were his sons. And what happened to his sons? They were killed too. But they tried. They were offered money, and then they were stabbed in the back. Because in my discernment, it's Israel that are behind everything that's happening. It's not Trump. Benjamin Netanyahu was in charge before Trump was in office. He will be in charge after Trump leaves. That's why I put so much onus on Netanyahu and Israel. They are going to continue to be a thorn in our side the way they were before Trump. They're going to be a worse thorn after Trump. That's why I can't keep putting too much on Trump. Not to say that he's not guilty, but he's following orders. And I know that's not a good excuse because he should be stronger than that. But when it comes to Israel, like I said, these people start drooling on themselves. They turn full retard. And, you can't call double dribble on a retarded kid that you're playing basketball with. So that's why. And we killed our new leaders. The new leaders of Iran, we killed them. So now we're back to the old leadership.
Almost immediately, rumors began spreading that Arafi had been killed in the strike. But you know what?
No, Israel's doing more than just looking out for their own best interests. Israel's trying to figure out how to kill off all Americans. Israel is a part of the whole depopulation part of America, the whole destroy America, death to America. That's not just Iran chanting that. Israelis hate Americans too. Even the ones with dual citizenship, their loyalty is to Israel. It's not duly to the United States. Think about it. Even Mike Huckabee Tucker Carlson just did an interview with him from Israel. He is Israel first, second, third, fourth, fifth. He's America like 20th. These people are literally preying on the destruction of America, and they're hoping that Israel is going to be their safe evacuation point from the destruction, and it won't be. Israel will never be a safe haven. That place shouldn't be there in the first place. Yeah, great job to Trump and the armed forces. I'll be honest, until we're out of the fog of war, we can't really say if our armed forces did a good job or not. What have they accomplished? We're literally back in the same place we were day one. The same regime is now back in power. The regime that we were supposed to change into has been killed. So we haven't made any progress as of yet. The only thing we've done is we've made all these countries that are supporting America and Israel in the Middle East, we're making them all second guess if they should have just stayed loyal to Iran instead of siding with us. See, these countries jumped on our dicks and they sided with us because they were afraid. They were more afraid of us than they were of Iran. But now they're seeing that Iran is a lot more powerful than they thought they were. And since they have more ideologically in line with Iran, maybe they're probably going to consider that they should probably just stay neutral. Maybe they shouldn't have American bases or house American troops or allow the Americans to launch from the airfields in their countries. Maybe they should stay neutral, because what this is showing is that the Americans can't protect you. The Americans could not stop your countries from being bombed. The Americans are not going to be able to stop the Burj Khalifa from being hit with rockets tomorrow. They couldn't stop the Palm Hotel. They couldn't stop the fields from being bombed in Dubai. The Americans can't save you. It was a lie. oh, the Americans can protect us from Iran and Russia and China. Now you're saying just Iran alone, the Americans can't save you. So then what is the benefit of losing your sovereignty to the Americans if you do it for protection, but they can't fucking protect you? If somebody can give me the logic behind that, I'll accept it. But as of now, nobody in the comments is telling me, well, yeah, they want the Americans for protection, but even though they're not able to protect them, they should still deal with us because X, Y, Z. I'm open to all suggestions. In my opinion, America should only have our military on our southern and northern borders. That's it. We should not be all over the world basically pretending we can protect countries from other countries. These other countries should be swallowed up by these larger, stronger countries, because if you can't protect your land and your citizens, then it's not yours. If you have a wife and another man can walk up to your wife and grab her hand and walk off with her, then that's not your wife. If you can't stop that other man, if you can't protect what's yours, it's not yours. So if these countries can't defend themselves and they need the American government to donate money to them through USAID for their country to stay afloat and have an economy, then these countries should not exist. And I'm speaking about these Eastern European countries too. Like, what's another one? Estonia. What's their GDP? What do they export? A lot of these countries don't exist. They only exist on paper because the United States were using them to house our weapons for an eventual invasion of Russia. If we're not planning on invading Russia anymore and we don't give these countries money, they fail to exist. They're going to have to be swallowed up by the greater Russia Federation. The greater Russia Federation. They shouldn't exist. So if you look at some of these Gulf countries, yeah, they have a lot of oil money, but they can't defend themselves. They depend on the United States for protection. But if you can't defend yourself against a country like Iran, should you exist? Could you exist? What is your existence if you can't protect yourself from the Iranians and the Americans are not doing a good job? Then why are you working with the Americans? Maybe you should negotiate with Iran. That way you don't have to worry about your security because you're neutral. They're only bombing these other bases because the Americans were losing those bases to launch against Iran. If they were not using those airfields, then those countries wouldn't have been hit. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, now you finally make sense. Honestly, I thought I've made sense this whole time. I'm fairly logically consistent. I'm not all extreme in one different direction. I'm pretty even flow, in my opinion. If you have a difference of opinion, share it with me. You might be right. You might have a good point. I'm not going to say you're absolutely wrong. We must control the Iranian oil so we can control China. Absolutely. China's no longer getting its oil from Venezuela, so they would have to get it from Iran. They don't have the pipeline infrastructure to get it from Russia. So therefore, we're really just affecting China the most. But how much is China going to take before they get involved? But we also know China is providing unlimited ammunitions and missiles to Iran. Iran's not going to run out. We are. We will be out of missiles and rockets in less than 2 weeks. Iran has 9 to 15 months stockpile as of now. And that's without even being replenished from the Russians and the Chinese. Because the same way the United States was not a party to the war against Russia and the Ukraine, they just gave them supplies. Russia and China are not going to be a party to this war against America, but they're going to give Iran ammunition and supplies. It's the same thing. Just because we're America doesn't mean we're not a country. We're no better. We're better compared to us because we have huge egos and we think we're the best, but we're just a country just like they are. They have people. They have to make decisions. They have to do what's best for themselves. We're fairly even. We're all still humans. Well, not everybody in the Epstein file. They're not humans, but the rest of us are. We're just villagers. Luxembourg. Yeah. Hey, countries' validity and value is not determined by how well they make war. I disagree. A country's validity is based on their ability to retain their sovereignty. If you don't have the ability to maintain your sovereignty by force, then you don't have a country. if you don't have a military that can defend your borders, if you don't have weapons that can defend your policies and your way of life, if you don't have a police force that's going to be able to go out there and keep order, then you don't have a country. You don't have a society. The U.S. will run out of missiles. Whose brain have you borrowed? You didn't Pud the dog? You didn't know this? Let's see here. I'll show you. U.S. running out of missiles. There was just a story about it. Are you reading this?
Day 3 of the war, and a troubling question is emerging in Washington. Is the United States burning through its most expensive missiles faster than it can replace them?
Oh, there you go. So you thought I was just making this up? This is world news. This is accurately being reported from around the world. The United States, we gave our missile stockpile to the fucking Ukraine. They're not just producing missiles everywhere. Halliburton and you know all these other what is it called? Military industrial complex. They're not just producing missiles and weapons every day. They're not. A lot of our stockpiles have been depleted. The only stuff we have are stuff we've brought from the mainland that's traveled on these ships. But there was only so much we could bring on our carriers. We don't have it. We don't. So this is me bringing you up to speed. So take a listen.
U.S. forces have intercepted hundreds of Iranian ballistic missiles and drones targeting American bases and allies across the Middle East. The U.S. military is relying on advanced air defense systems like Patriot, THAAD, and ship-based interceptors to stop those attacks. But every interception uses costly high-tech missiles, and experts warn that a prolonged conflict could begin to strain American interceptor stockpiles.
I told you I'm not just making this up.
I'll grant the administration this. It is way too early, 48 hours in for...
Yeah, that ideology does put all countries at war with each other. We literally are all at war with each other. If you can't keep it, it's not yours. It's the law of the jungle. We are the jungle. We make the laws. The laws are whatever we say they are. There is no power higher than us. And we still play by the rules of the jungle on an international scale. If you can't protect it and you can't keep it, then it's not yours. It's whoever has the strength to take it from you. Period. If a larger country, think about it, when the United States wanted Hawaii, what the fuck could the Hawaiians do? Do you know the story of Hawaii? Do you know the story of Puerto Rico? These are larger countries with larger militaries and weapons and guns, and they came to these smaller places and they say, you now belong to me. Show me your king, show me your queen, show me your princess. Okay, we're going to fuck the princess, we're going to kill her, and we're going to put the king and queen in prison, and there's not a fucking thing you can do about it. This is ours now. That's how it works around the world. This is not new. You just have a normalcy bias because all the dirty work was done before you were born. So as far as you know, it's peaceful. But how do you think we've been here this whole time? Why do you think nobody's running into our country, but we're always running into other people's countries? It's the law of the land. Russia ran into another person's country. They run it. China can go into other people's countries. That's how it goes. We have the strength. Might is right when you're playing by the rules of the jungle. It's only the strong survive. That's how it works.
Or cost estimates. Clearly, when you combine...
Come on, Democrat, you love pedophiles. You protect pedophiles. So if you're here to compliment Trump by calling him a pedophile, go compliment him somewhere else. You guys have laws that Democrats passed to protect pedophiles, like Gavin Newsom's law in California, Senate Bill 145. You don't care about pedophiles. You don't care about Trump. You don't care about protecting kids. You guys, they just passed a law where a man who raped 3 different kids and who had 3 life sentences, they're about to let him go in California. They have laws to protect pedophiles. You Democrats are the Epsteins. You're all Epstein. You guys are worse than Epstein. So don't pretend like you care about people being pedophiles. You're a pedophile. You protect pedophiles. You support Democrat policies. You support Gavin Newsom. You want him to be president. After they pass laws to protect pedophiles. Fuck out of here. You guys are clowns.
The efforts of the amount of munitions that we have spent over the last year attacking the Houthis.
Trump's only been president for 14 months? You got to wait on your check. And you know what? You sound like a reparations watermelon warrior. Stop waiting on a check. Go work. If you get a check from Trump for Doge, that's a bonus, but you didn't earn it. No one owes you shit. Go back to work. Go figure it out on your own. Be an adult. Be an American.
The amount of munitions that's been spent on other ventures. I think the 7 different military conflicts the president has put America into, our munitions are low. That's public knowledge. It will require additional funding. Funding where we have other domestic needs as well.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio has also acknowledged the scale of Iran's missile buildup.
Oh, absolutely. I believe they're going to bring it to our soil this time. The only problem is how, well, they've already brought it to our soil. We had a terrorist attack at a club, at a bar that I go to in Austin just a couple of days ago. He walked in, it was a black dude. So that's why you're not going to hear about it on the news, because they protect the blacks. But a black dude walked in with a shirt that said "Property of Allah," and he opened up fire on white people. It was a race motivated attack because directly across the street is a black club. So he had a choice between a black and a white club, and he chose the white club as a black person. So there was a racial motivation in there. So it's already reached our soil. Iran might not have missiles that can make it here, but they've sent over, I mean, the border was open. Millions of people live here. We don't know where they are. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they're doing. So we're already at that point, unfortunately.
Warning that Tehran's production capacity far exceeds the rate at which U.S. interceptors can be manufactured.
So what they're saying is that Iran has been building these drones that are unstoppable, that are cheap. A $20,000 drone, but you're going to spend $700,000 in ammo trying to shoot down a drone that costs $20,000, and the odds of you being able to hit it are like 1 in 20. So it's like it's not even worth it trying to shoot them down. So the Iranians are doing a lot of direct hits on anything that they target. And we have not seen anything like this. We've never went up. Why do you think Trump backed down from fighting the Russians? Because we don't have what it takes militarily to hang with the Russian Federation. And we shouldn't have picked a fight with the Iranians. We don't have the military capability to deal with an actual another military. We can deal with militia. We can handle the Taliban. We can handle, Saddam's forces. We can handle, maybe we might be able to handle the cartels, but an actual organized military, no. And our military generals will tell you that. I don't have to be the one to tell you. Ask somebody in the military.
They are producing, by some estimates, over 100 of
No, these drones from Iran are 20,000, not 2 million.
these missiles a month. Compare that to the 6 or 7 interceptors that can be built a month.
Analysts estimate Iran may have entered the war with roughly 2,500 ballistic missiles, meaning the battle is becoming a race between Iran launching missiles and the US.
I hate when they give you numbers. Who the fuck gave them the numbers? Nobody. They made it up. Well, I'm just saying Iran came into this battle with 2,500. How the fuck do you know? You don't know anybody in the Iranian government. You don't know anybody who works for the military. You have zero clue. You're making up a number. That is dangerous because that gives a false sense of security. That gives people a false hope. You're thinking, man, once they get through those 2,500 missiles, we're fine. All of a sudden, they got 10,000 more and you're fucked. How many times did they tell you the Russians are running out of ammo? The Russians are literally using parts from washer machines to fight the Ukrainians. Just wait a little bit longer and the Russians are going to be all out of ammo. The Russians are like, what the fuck are these people smoking? We're not running out of anything. We literally have a military industrial complex that produces more ammo than we can spend on the Ukrainians. And that was giving people false hope. And that's what made them drag themselves into meat grinders where they were destroyed. So that's why I hate when people give out these fake idiotic numbers. You don't know. You don't have boots on the ground. You don't have spies. Even the spies wouldn't know. You're just making it up.
And Israel destroying launchers and storage sites before they can be fired. At the same time, the United States is...
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand how war works. I've been in enough fights. I've survived enough battles. And this is my assessment. I can read, I can analyze, I can discern. I don't need a daddy like you to tell me, oh, no, this is what it is. I don't need a translator. I can translate for myself. You need another man to tell you what to believe. I don't. I can literally sit here and figure it out for myself. I'm here talking and having a conversation with people about it because this matters. I live in this same world. Yeah, I'm safe. I'm in the United States, but I'm a part of the world. And I make videos. I do content. I have these conversations. I enjoy talking about these things because I hated not knowing. I was in the dark a few years ago. I didn't know the world was going to lock down. I wasn't paying attention to the news talking about a fake virus. I was just living my normal life until one day my whole world stopped. So because of that, I now keep up with everything and I talk about everything because I want to be prepared. I want at least a 10-hour head start on the rest of you if shit hits the fan. So I'm going to make sure I stay up to date with everything at all times. You know, like, you know, bye.
Also expending offensive weapons. U.S. Navy destroyers have launched Tomahawk cruise missile.
Yeah, Trump being in the Epstein files a million times doesn't mean anything. His name being on some paper doesn't mean shit. That's not physical evidence. That's not video. That's not proof. That's just his name. And then also there's no whistleblower, meaning there's no snitch. See, when it came to Fauci, right? Fauci, there was a whistleblower against him. There were several. The biggest whistleblower against Fauci was a woman by the name of Judy Mikovits. She was able to go over all of Fauci's data and research and say, no, this is what this really means. This is the actual research that he had restricted. He put me on a gag order. She was able to break down and explain everything that Fauci lied to us about. So that's how we had the Fauci files. But when it comes to the Epstein files, we still really can't make heads or tails of them. All we can do is use our imagination and guess because he's still alive. And the reason you know he's still alive is because there's not one person willing to snitch. These people in the files whose names are being named, they'd rather you think that they're pedophiles than to go on there and clear their name by snitching. Any one of these people in the Epstein files, to clear their name, all they have to do is snitch. Do you understand what I'm saying? All they have to do is come out and say, look, I know you think I'm a pedophile, but I'm not. But this is what these other people were doing. Jerky means this. Pizza means this. This means that. Oh, what he was talking about in this date, this, and this. There's no snitch. There's not one person who's giving up any information. They all have stayed silent. I've never seen anything this airtight in my life. So because of that, we can't really make heads or tails of what's really going on. All we can do is just guess and assume. And that's not going to pass a grand jury. You're going to need evidence. a person's name and a person's word and somebody written down some shit 20 years ago and some file, that's not emails. That's not proof. It's just words. It's just words. You need proof. You need physical evidence, and it has to be enough to get a grand jury to do an indictment, because you're like, okay, once this gets in front of a jury, we'll be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this, and this happened. Here goes DNA samples. Here goes videos. It's more than just a testimony of a person who's trying to get immunity for themselves or who accepted money X amount of years ago. You can't take those people seriously. So when it comes to what's required for you to get an indictment so you can prosecute somebody, I don't care if his name is written in there 1 billion times. If you don't have any fucking evidence, then there's nothing for you to charge him with. Oh, no one's being charged in the Epstein files. Charged with what? What evidence? What proof? Okay, you want to call these people victims. Other people are calling them co-conspirators. She says she was a victim, but then she also admits she used to go help kidnap other women and procure them and bring them. So she's a co-conspirator who's now claiming victimhood. I don't care if his name, I don't care if the Epstein files, when you read them, it just says Trump, 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 Trump on every line for millions of pages. It can just say Trump, written a gazillion times over 1 million pages. It doesn't indicate anything illegal. You can't, that's not enough. You're going to need more evidence. You are fantasizing about Trump having sex with kids. You're a pervert. You're sick. So you're making up these stuff. You're projecting in your head. Oh man, Trump was doing this. He was fingering, he was touching. You've seen no videos, you've seen no evidence, you've seen nothing, but you're a pervert. That's all you think about is all this sex stuff with kids because you're mentally fucking ill. So because of that, you're projecting. And I'm like, okay, cool. If you have some evidence against Trump that's saying that he molested kids, why are you holding on to it and watching it every night? That's kid porn. Why don't you just take it to the police station? That's why I say you're sick, because you're claiming that you have this evidence that Trump's a pedophile. Why haven't you given it to the police? You've seen videos of Trump having sex with kids. Why are you watching it? Why aren't you giving it to the police? That's why I can't take you seriously. Why haven't you turned over your evidence about Trump to the police? Why are you telling me? Why are you talking to me about Trump? Why aren't you talking to investigators and saying, hey, these are the tapes I have of Trump with these kids. Look, it's him. And look, he fucked Macaulay Culkin. This is him on the set of Home Alone. Yeah, this is him. And Joe Pesci. They're doing a train on Macaulay. If you have video evidence, if you have physical evidence, you have some DNA, if you have anything besides words that you can give to the police, why are you telling me? Go give it to law enforcement.
Against Iranian targets, weapons that are also considered critical for any future conflict with China. For now, US officials say defenses are holding and the operation is progressing. But if the war drags on...
Yeah, fuck the liberals. They don't care. What liberals care? Care about what? What do they care about? They're literally, they have laws that have been put on file that protect pedophiles. The liberals don't give a shit. The liberals are the ones who passed the laws. Gavin Newsom passed a law that made it legal to sodomize kids. And then once you're convicted, you don't have to even register as a sex offender. That's liberal policies. Fuck these liberals. They protect pedophiles. If you pass a law where a pedophile is convicted of having sex with a kid, and the worst thing you can do is put them on a sex offender registry, if you remove that, if you make it so they don't got to register because, well, the kid's gay that he molested and he's gay and it's unfair to gay people, so we're going to pass a law to protect them. If that's your line of thinking, then you're a pervert and you're sick, just like everybody you're accusing Epstein of. You're worse than Epstein. Epstein never passed laws protecting pedophiles. Gavin Newsom and the liberals did. Look right here. Newsom. Okay, how about this? Before you fuckers start talking to me about Epstein, explain this. If one of you liberals can explain this to me, I will talk to you about Trump being a pedophile and in the Epstein files until I'm blue in the face. If one of you can just explain this, then I'll talk to you about Trump in the Epstein files. I will literally talk about till I'm blue in the face, whatever you want to talk about. All you have to do is explain this to me. Explain it. I asked one of my black friends today. He's not really a friend. He's kind of an asshole. I met him in person a couple of times. I could have knocked this shit out, but I kind of was like, let's have a conversation. Let's talk. And he was respectful, but today he kind of sent me some messages. Oh, you don't want to talk about the Epstein files. I talk about them all the fucking time. I talked about the fact that we can't make heads or tails of it because there's no snitch, just like I explained to you guys. And now you guys can explain to others. There's no whistleblower. There's no snitch that's gonna tell us what all these different codes mean. We don't know. But I showed him this picture and I said, hey, explain this to me and I'll agree with you and we'll talk about Trump being a pedophile. You know what he did? He wanted to stop the conversation and move on. He's a piece of shit weirdo too. And so are you. Which one of you can explain to me Senate Bill 145, Newsom signs bill intended to end discrimination against LGBTQP people in sex crime convictions? Why are you trying to basically help or protect people who have been convicted of sex crimes? There's no way you are morally consistent if you're not talking about this law passed by Newsom, but you're talking about the Epstein files and Trump being a pedophile. There's no way you're morally consistent if you're not talking about this more than you're talking about Trump and the files. Can anybody in this live share this with your friend? Share it with your mom. If you guys share this video, I'll end up being one of the largest content creators on YouTube because some of our favorite content creators have died because they took the vaccine. A lot of the people that are pushing the vaccine are also the ones that talk about Trump's a pedophile. So I don't trust anybody that took the vaccine. I just don't. I can't take you seriously. But in this situation, can any of you explain to me? Can any of you explain this to me? Senate Bill 145, Gavin Newsom. Who can talk to me about this? And there goes Cody Phillips. You're changing the subject. That's not the question. He asks, why are we talking about LGBT? Because you guys are calling Trump a pedophile. That's why we're talking about the gays. You're calling Trump one of you, a pedophile, a gay. They're all covered under the LGBTQP elemento. So can somebody explain to me this bill by Gavin Newsom? If you can explain this to me, we can talk about Trump and the Epstein files all night. Talk to me. Think of the children. Oh, the world is a better place without fucking. You want to fuck Charlie Kirk and know the guy? I have no idea. Okay. Can you explain this to me, Grim Morden? Can you explain this to me? Because a lot of you pedophiles hated Charlie Kirk. See, this bill right here was making its way east in the United States. And then Kirk spoke out against it with Trump and it got rejected and it stopped its progression. So a lot of you guys hated Trump and Charlie Kirk because he restricted your access to children. That's the right that they talking about that they lost under Trump is they lost their right to have sexual access to children without going to prison. Under the Biden administration, people were fucking kids and they weren't going to jail. That's racist. I don't give a fuck. Racism makes a lot of sense. I like racist. Read the bill. As a gay person, oh fuck, they automatically have to register as a sex offender. Yeah, that's what happens when you're convicted of a fucking sex crime, you pervert. P. Diddy files. Yeah, explain this Newsom file, and then we'll talk about the Epstein files. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what is a bigot. I have no idea, but I mean, thank you. I like compliments. Racist, bigot, those all mean that I have really good pattern recognition skills. So thank you. I appreciate it. The truth. Yes, it is. Wow. Facts. You know what? I'm really liking my audience. I like the people that are in this chat. I like you guys individually. I like that you guys are sitting here talking to me. Because sometimes you don't know if you're going crazy because a bunch of gay people that get in here and they'll start talking about how they're pedophiles and how they're gays and they like kids and I'm wrong for saying that you shouldn't have sex with kids. And I'll start thinking, am I the one? Am I crazy? Am I the weird one or are they the weird ones? Or am I, which, because you start thinking that maybe I'm not the norm. Maybe pedophiles are the norm. Maybe I'm a relic. I'm a dinosaur. Maybe I'm too old school that I think those people should be buried under the fucking jail, castrated, and never should see the light of day for targeting and molesting kids. But if everybody else, if they can convince you that no, all the cool kids are doing it, everybody does it. Now I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm losing my mind. But you guys seeing what I'm seeing, and then that's how I know I'm not the crazy one. These perverts are. But it's crazy how they kind of organize themselves and they all fall in here, and then they probably hit each other up offline and they go do circle jerks and they talk about Rico Limbaugh and blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever. Have fun at your circle jerk. I'm just not joining. Bigot is someone who is not pattern recognition. I have no idea I don't think that's what a bigot is, because I don't think pattern recognition was something they considered when they made the word bigot. But then again, I don't even know what is it. Let me ask Arthur. Let me ask him. Hey, Arthur, what is a bigot, and when did that word become invented?
A bigot is someone who is obstinately or unreasonably attached to their own prejudices, especially regarding race, religion, or other groups, and they often show intolerance or hatred toward those who are different. The word bigot has been around for centuries. In English, it appeared in the late 16th century, though its origins likely trace back earlier in Old French, where it was used as a derogatory label for certain groups. Over time, it evolved into the term we recognize today.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't see that as an insult. So, yeah, you can call me that. That's fine with me. Thank you. I don't see that as being an insult. Holding on to my predetermined biases about certain groups or religions or races of people. Fuck yeah. I think a lot of you people, based on your race and your religious background and your countries of origin, I think you guys are fucked up. I think you guys are sick. I don't live around black people because they have a lot of fucked up tendencies. They have no religion. They don't believe life has value. They steal and murder each other for fun, and then they make dances and rap songs about it. That's fine. I hold on to my prejudices about certain people because I'm trying to stay alive. If you forget that these people are dangerous, you'll let one of them walk up and kill you. That's the crazy thing about the terrorist attack in Austin. I go to that bar, right? That bar has security. It just shows you how they've cucked people so much. They seen a black dude with an M16 walking up to the bar, and instead of them pulling out guns and shooting him right on the spot, they were thinking, wait a minute, this is Austin, Texas. We don't want to be bigots. Maybe he's just a gun enthusiast that wants to get a drink. Let him in. Instead of fucking blowing this guy to fucking smithereens, soon as they seen him walk, he didn't run. He walked up to the bar. They should have killed him instantly. But then again, people would have said, that's so racist. How do you know it's illegal? It's legal to carry a gun in Texas. And then all the black people would come out. Black Lives Matter. The ghosts of Jesse Jackson and Al fucking Sharpton would have showed up. They would have sued Buford's for racial discrimination because they killed a black guy before he was a terrorist. How do you know he was going to get in there and start shooting? What if he would have got in there and just put the gun on the counter and just had a drink and left and blah, 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 blah. Fuck you people, all of you, individually. Every single one of you, fuck you. I'm not buying it. I'm not risking it at all. Had people been a little bit more racist, they would have killed that guy as soon as they seen him get out of the car with the gun. But they didn't because they didn't want to be called a racist bigot. I don't give a fuck. See, you calling me that, if I can hear you, that means I'm still alive. Well, then I won. So you call me what you want to, but I'm still here. So that's the difference. Therein lies a big difference.
The fight may test not just military power, but also how long America's missile arsenal.
Listen, if the shoe don't fit, then don't force it on. I'm not yelling at you per se. If you're on my side, you're on my side, but I'm not talking. Don't internalize this. I'm speaking obviously in generalities. You're not sitting here next to me or I'm talking to you. Fuck you. I'm talking in general. Okay. Don't take it. Again, if the shoe don't fit, you must have quit. Or if it doesn't fit, don't force it on. Whatever one of those sayings apply right now. Okay. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. How about that?
Can sustain the battle.
Sean Myrtle, thank you. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, follow the page. I appreciate you guys even tuning in for this live and being here with me. It's 5:10 a.m. in the morning, and we're up having these conversations that people don't want to have. The reason we're watching this video right now is because I made the point that the United States, we don't have enough missiles to fight this war in Iran for any more than about a week and a half, because we've depleted our stockpiles just like everybody else in NATO, because we gave everything to the Ukrainians, but we weren't just giving it to the Ukrainians. NATO was wearing Ukraine uniforms, and we took all of our ammunitions and all of our weapons from other countries, went into the Ukraine to fight the Russians, and we lost. The Russians destroyed everything that we have. Therefore, the only ammunition we have left is what we brought on the aircraft carriers from the United States. We don't have any other reserves anywhere else. We're tapped. And we've been giving a lot of missiles to Israel. So we're pretty much assed out. The Iranians can keep this up, this bombing at this rate. They can keep it up for another 12 months. We're guesstimating. We don't even know how much more they could have. Also, they're being resupplied by the Russians and the Chinese. They're doing a hell of a job, and they've already turned down the ceasefire multiple times. They want the fade, and they're getting it, but we're getting it. We're losing. Their people, there's hundreds of millions of them. They can afford to lose a few 100,000. They'll be fine. They'll be able to rebuild. They're a stable society. They have families. See, when you're in a society where men have wives and children to fight for and to live for, then they're also willing to die for them, and they're going to want to protect them. In America, we don't have children. We don't have wives. We don't have families. Everyone's gay. Everyone's confused. The thing that made the country strong is over. We don't have that anymore. Our next president probably won't have kids and won't have a wife. We're coming up on those days. The family structure is destroyed in the West. The laws here, the policies, it doesn't make any sense. It's predatory for men. So we don't have anything to live for. We don't have anything to fight for, which is why that's why I said this is the end of our empire. Not because we don't run out of money, it's because we ran out of families. We don't have them anymore. This country doesn't promote being families. But look at the Russians. Why they win the war in Ukraine? Why they destroy NATO? Family. They have men that are fighting to the death on the front lines because they have a wife and kids at home that they got to protect. And they know if they would have lost that war in the Ukraine to NATO, NATO was going to go into Russia, destroy the country, divide it up, and sell it off the way they did Libya and with the African slaves. They would have did the same thing to Russia, like they've done every other country we've invaded and destroyed. So the Russians are like, my kids and my wife are going to die. I'm going to fight to the death. We don't have that motivation here in the United States no more. All of the people in our ground forces, in our army, there are a lot of gay black kids. That's it. All the white kids, they left when they were trying to do the forced vaccine mandate. That's unconstitutional. But the black kids don't give a fuck about the Constitution. They just wanted a check so they can get a Camaro, and they're gay anyway, so they just stayed there and got the money and robbed the government. We don't have ground forces anymore. We have nothing to live for. We have nothing to fight for. But these other countries like Iran, like China, like Russia, they have plenty. Why do you think the UK's military is so fucking weak, and the Canadians and the Australians? Why do you think all these countries have nothing no more? They don't have families no more. It's over. It's over in the West. Why do you think they have to import people from the third world? Because the third world people have families, and they have kids, and they have people. Why do you think we have a negative birth rate in these countries, and we have a societal population collapse that we're on? It's a difference. That's what makes Iran stronger than us. Not that they have more weapons or better soldiers, but they have families. They have something for their men to look forward to going home to. They have something for them to look forward to fighting to defend. What do you want me to defend? Drag queen story hour? You want me to grab a gun, go to the other side of the world, and you want me to be having shootouts with motherfuckers dressed like Aladdin with open-toe sandals, and then when I stop and I'm laying in the trenches and I'm being showered with fucking shell casings, and it's cold, and I'm tired, and I start thinking about back home, and I'm just imagining all the fucking drag queens on stage twerking in front of kindergartners, and that's supposed to motivate me to want to go out there and fucking get on the front lines. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Definitely not a motivating force at all. There's nothing for us to protect here in the West. And once that becomes mainstream, because if we don't do something about this gay problem and this black problem in the US, once people figure that out, we don't have nothing. There's nothing for us to talk about here. There's nothing left for us to protect. No one's willing to die to protect evil black people that are driving around killing each other and destroying our economies. And there's and what, a bunch of gay men dressed up as women that are molesting kids in school, and the counselors and the principals are running cover. You want me to go out and defend this? Blacks and gays, that's what you want me to fight to defend? You want me to die and lose my arm and my leg and IUDs and stepping on landmines? You want me to go out there and risk my life for blacks so they can go shoplift, and for a bunch of gays so they can molest kids wearing wigs and all this fucking makeup? That's what I'm supposed to be motivated. That's what I'm supposed to be like. I want to protect that back home. That's it. We don't have shit. We're cooked. We're cooked. Barron's is cooked. Why would Barron go over there to defend blacks and drag queens? Why would Barron go? It doesn't make any sense. No, I don't support Israel. Fuck Israel. Fuck Netanyahu. Why would I support? What is there to support? What's good about them? What have they done for us? I don't support anybody that doesn't do anything for us. No, of course not. Blacks are only a problem because of the rap culture. It doesn't matter what they're a problem, period. They don't believe in families. They don't believe in work. They believe that they're victims. They're literally destroying our country with the word racism and oppression every single day while begging us to take care of them. It's a problem. It's a problem. Black culture is erasing American culture. That's why the women here don't want to be mothers, and because black culture is anti-family, anti-American, anti-human. They do abortion. That's why our country, not the black people per se, they're only 9% of the population now. It's their culture has erased American culture, which was pro-family, pro-country, pro-flag, we don't have any of that anymore. You got to go into the heartland somewhere, places where there aren't that many black people. But then there are people there that black culture is spread like a mind virus. It's poison, but it's spread through music, rap music, which is in English. So you can hear it, you can understand it. Other countries are immune to it because they don't speak English. But if these rap lyrics were translated into their language, it'll destroy their societies too. Yeah, no, Barron wouldn't qualify for this. Why would he? There's nothing on there. MAGA's on Grindr. Okay, Grindr. A lot of people are on Grindr. What does that got to do with anything? Yeah, gays are the problem, Cody, and you'll figure it out. No drag queens were caught molesting. Everybody on Epstein Island is a drag queen. All those, are you retarded? Bill Clinton dressed up in drag. There's pictures of him wearing dresses. Epstein, crossdresser. Klaus Schwab, crossdresser. Yuval Noel Harari, crossdresser. Emmanuel Macron, crossdresser. Big Mike, Michelle Obama, crossdresser. Michael Robinson, crossdresser. All these, Zelensky, crossdresser. All these people on Epstein Island, all these celebrities, all the actors, all these rich investors, they're all Jewish people who are crossdressers and gay. What are you talking about? They're all crossdressers. They're all gay. They're all gay. All of them. That's the whole thing about Epstein Island. That's what made it a scandal. And they were there just meeting other single people and it was all heterosexual sex. It wouldn't be a scandal. The scandal is the gay part, not just the young part, the gay stuff, the cross-dressing stuff. That's the part that makes it a scandal. Why do I got to tell you? You guys don't know this already? Like, nobody knows this? Why am I the only one that has to tell you all this? Why am I the only one that had to tell you that we ran out of ammunition because we gave everything to the Ukraine and we gave everything else to Israel? We don't have a production facility creating bombs every day. Why? You should know this. If you don't, listen, this is why it's important that you follow my channel. I do these videos during the day. I do them at night. I'm up all night making these videos. I literally go to bed sometimes 7 in the afternoon, 6 in the afternoon, once I'm done with my work. And then I wake up at midnight just so I can come sitting here and talk to you guys for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. We go over all these topics because a lot of your other creators aren't making content anymore because they're sick. A lot of them have cancer. A lot of them are dealing with blood clots. They have other exotic diseases from the vaccine. So they're sick and they don't want to tell you because there's people like me that are going to say, I told you so, because I was on the front lines begging and fighting people not to take those shots. So I'm going to be able to say, I told you so. Like my friends in LA, all my, like Ray J and all my other friends, they're all sick from the vaccine and they're dying. And I'm the one that will tell you, I told you so. And they've admitted to me the reason, and they've had these cancer diagnoses ever since 2022. They just didn't want to tell me they got it right after they took the shot because I was going to say, I told you so. So there's a big gap in information and in creators. So I'm here because more and more people are leaving the space because they're dying. I hope that makes sense to you guys. So follow my channel. Keep up with me. I might not necessarily be the happiest person or the most convincing, but you can fact check me and we can have a conversation about it. That's the best I can offer you. What's going to happen, bro? If we run out of missiles and China keeps supplying Iran, then we are going to have to concede that we lost. And that's going to be a strategic defeat for the United States. If we want to save face, the best we can do is send in a bunch of gay black kids into the Iran territory, because we have like bullets, but they are going to be executed swiftly. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to try to get rid of those excess soldiers that have that Marxist mentality. I think they're going to send them into Iran just to be deleted, because we do need to get that ideology out of our military. And there's only one way to do that. You have to destroy it. So you have to destroy the people that are housing that idea. I don't know if you guys are watching TikTok, and these black kids who are in the military, they hate the military. They hate the government. They're Marxists. They voted for Kamala. We have to get them out of the military, but you can't legally remove them or fire them. So we're going to have to send them onto the front lines into Iran. And then once they're done, then we're going to come up with we're going to negotiate and we're going to pull out, and then we're going to have to just go lick our wounds and regroup. But we're going to have to look for an excuse. So we have to get that ideology out of our military. So that's what's going to happen. Once we run out of missiles, we're probably going to do boots on the ground, and it's going to be a limited boots on the ground, just a lot of blacks, Marxist kids. We have about 200,000 of them, which make up our ranks. And we'll try to see how many of them we can get rid of before we end the conflict. It's kind of like, you got to look at the glasses half full. There's some benefits to it. We'll get rid of the people that are excess weight, that are weighing us down and are hurting our morale. Because if you're a white kid and you join the military and it's a bunch of gay blacks in there telling you how much they hate the country and how you're a bad person if you love the country, you're going to pervert and you're going to manipulate that kid and turn him against his own country. So we can't separate them because that's segregation. So we have to send them somewhere that we can get rid of them. I'm just telling you the future. That's what's coming. And that's why I'm justifying what's going to happen. Yeah, and you can call it racist if you want to. It doesn't matter what you call it. It is what it is. Those soldiers are going to be gone. I just took a look. These are the soldiers that just died. I can prove to you that what I'm saying is correct, right? Let me show you what the soldiers who were killed today. I'm going to show you what the 3 soldiers look like. And you tell me if you see a pattern. Let's see if you see a pattern. La, 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 la. These are the soldiers that were killed. What are the odds that so basically 80% of the soldiers that they're reporting are dead happen to be from a small 9% of the population? What are the odds of that? These kids are gays. They're Marxists. They voted for Kamala. They hate the government. They're not patriots. They signed up to get a check so they can buy a Camaro. They're going to send the rest of them that are just like them, they're going to send them into the meat grinder, because they're hurting the morale of the military. The gays were destroying the morale, but we could legally excise them and purge them from the military ranks. It's difficult when it's blacks. Even if they're gay, it makes it difficult because they're not trans. So you're not going to be able to prove mental illness. Believing in racism is a mental illness, in my opinion, but it's not a recognized mental illness like gender dysphoria. Therefore, you're going to have to send them into the front lines to be liquidated. And then that way you can save our military in the future. Trust me, I don't like it no more than you do, but it is what it is. There's a lot of things in this world I don't like. There's a lot of things in life I don't like. But it is what it is, you know. Good idea. Yeah, I mean, it's the greater good. It's a bad idea individually for those people, but it serves a purpose for the greater good. It has to be done. Doesn't have a choice. Like I said, I'm Cuban. They're starving out the communists in Cuba. And they're going to get so desperate that the communists they're going to die from starvation. And the Cuban people are going to be on their last thumb. And then the Americans are going to come in, save them. And that ideology is going to die out with the people who starve to death. But those who want to work and become Americans and not live off the government and be communists, they will survive. But the communists have to die out. The Marxists have to die out. So that's why Cuba's being starved. It's the same thing that's going to happen everywhere. It has to. Thanks for the info. Very creative thoughts. More on the vaccines. I have millions of thoughts on the vaccine. I can explain everything about them to you and about the campaign. Pretty much my focus is all the events from 2020 until today. So I'm actually a specialist in the subject because it's all I've studied. I keep track of all the deaths. I keep track of all the mandates. I keep track of the ingredients, the writings. I follow the ICANN network with Del Bigtree, RFK, even before it was all a big thing. I was there. I'm from California. I'm watching all my friends die in order. I'm watching my relatives get sick and die. My favorite uncle, who I haven't spoke to in years because he was a Democrat and he started speaking like a communist, and we're Cuban. But he started talking about taking a vaccine. They created a rule where we weren't doing family dinners together on Sunday if you didn't take the shot. That divided my family. So the conservatives said, we won't ever come over here and eat again. If you're going to try to make us take a poison injection just to come over for family dinner, we will have our own separate family dinners elsewhere. So one half of the family decided they're going to go ahead and be communists, go take these injections and trust people who they said are racist. The rest of us who are of sound mind and body decided not to, went our own separate way. And then I find out that no one's been telling me that my uncles and my other relatives have been having strokes, seizures, heart attacks. They've been dying, but no one wants to hear me say, I told you so. So they haven't been telling us. So today, one of my relatives broke the ranks, called my aunt on this side, on the conservative side. She told her sons, they called me and told me the news. And they want me to come back to California because they're saying he might not even remember you no more. His wife might not. They're all going through a bunch of health shit all of a sudden out of the blue. While the rest of us are all just normal. Everything's just fine. So I'm dealing with it also. I'm not speaking based on other people. I'm speaking out of personal experience as well. The difference is with me, I'm pragmatic and I keep track. I removed all emotion. I look at this scientifically. I understand the goals of the vaccine. I understand why it was necessary. I do understand why Bill Gates and Epstein developed it. I read the emails. That's in the Epstein files. Bill Gates asked Epstein, what are we going to do about the poor people? How do we get rid of all these poor people? Poor people is a code word for black people. Everyone knows that. They wanted to figure out how to get rid of the black people. They came up with a injection that was testosterone reactive. Blacks have the highest testosterones out of all humans. They figured you couldn't just make one race-based weapon because we're all mixed up. So you would have to just look for a commonly shared characteristic amongst those in your target demographic. And that was testosterone. And that's why you see all your favorite athletes and rappers and actors and blacks. They're all just dying. There are non-blacks that are dying, but they are ones who are bodybuilders and athletes, and they do things. They take testosterone so they can kind of get that black body build. They create the conditions inside their body that mimic that of a black person, and it's killing them because they have the injection in them also. But those who don't work out a lot and their testosterone levels are normal, they're not elevated like black people, they're surviving the vaccine longer. I did all the research so you don't have to. Even if you don't like it, you can just listen. You don't have to reject it. The reality is what it is, regardless if you reject it or not. It is what it is. You'll figure it out eventually and you'll come back. Everybody does. Everybody hears what I have to say. It hurts their feeling. It hurts their heart, but it entices their mind. They think about it. They sleep on it. And then they eventually find their way back. And then we start our conversation from then. There's really no rush. It's not your fault you didn't know. I was in the middle of it. I lived in downtown Los Angeles the first day of lockdown. A busy American city, one of the busiest in the country, 10 million people in my city. And it looked like the movie I Am Legend. And I was the only one walking around outside, me and my girlfriends, riding scooters in the middle of the street on a Saturday night. And I'm wondering, where the fuck is everybody else? Then I see people at 7 o'clock banging pots and pans out their fucking windows, pretending that the air outside is different than the air that's being sucked in by their air conditioner and spreading around their house. And then that's when I realized there's a lot of fucking idiots out there who would literally water their grass with Gatorade if we let them. Yeah. If I was a gay or trans person, a camp would have been the best place for them to put me. Same as in the Reich, but I'm not. Cuba doesn't want to be in this world, doesn't want to be communist. It doesn't matter if they want to be communist. We cannot have them being communist in our hemisphere anymore. We just can't do it. We have principles and standards now to live in this side of the world. You're not going to be able to sell fentanyl to Americans. You're not going to be able to be communist anymore if you want to live in our hemisphere. Now, instead of dying, fighting us, you're more than welcome to move to Europe or move to China. But you're not going to be able to live in the Western hemisphere. And this is our hemisphere. From Greenland to Argentina, this is our hemisphere. You're not going to be able to sell fentanyl and kill Americans, and you're not going to be able to be a communist in our hemisphere anymore. That's over. Israel joins with aggression. Yeah. We don't need the Persians to be free. They're already free. What you're asking for is the women want to be free. The women want sexual liberation. And that will be the end of their society. We can't have that. That's why a lot of the women who are not vocal before, they're speaking out against it. They're going to have to find all the gay women all over every corner of Iran, and they're going to have to liquidate them all if they want to save their society. You can't let that cancer fester. Those gay women begged the Americans to come over here and kill Khomeini, and you can't allow that. You can't. You got to get rid of them. So that's what's going to happen to the gays in Iran. But now, since you're seeing that they helped start a war by enticing another foreign government to come attack people in their own country just so that they can be gay. Now I'm understanding why they do this to gay people. They're dangerous. They literally, just because these women want to be gay, they beg the Americans to come over and kill their leaders. And the Americans actually did it. Because pushing this gay ideology and having pride parades for some weird reason is a fucking huge priority for the United States, which is disgusting. Acceptable casualties, yes. And you're Cuban. Well, I'm an American. I haven't been Cuban in a long time. I live in the United States. If I wanted to be Cuban that bad, I'd be back in Cienfuegos. But I am not. I'm here in the United States. So whatever that means. They're getting rid of the black men in the military. Not just the men, but they're also getting rid of the women. And they're going to send them into harm's way. And they're going to be liquidated because they have to get rid of that Marxist ideology. And it's not something you can talk out of the blacks. They don't listen. And we've tried. We have 30 years of case study, and nothing's worked. There's only one way to purge that problem, unfortunately. Can't talk to them about it. It's not going to work. Trump is an idiot. He's going to be impeached. Even an impeachment doesn't mean you're removed from being a president. That means you don't understand how the American system works, and you've never lived anywhere else. You never lived anywhere else. So that means you're ignorant of how this works, and that's to your own disadvantage. If you want to ask how it works, you can, but don't just assume, because you make an idiot out of yourself. The Eagle stated that 2026 to 2030, 7% of the population drop everywhere outside of China and Russia. This has been planned. Yeah, because China and Russia are the two countries that did not give the vaccine to their population. Now, the Chinese, they did execute 1 billion people in their country because during the lockdown, before the vaccine came out, there were crematoriums where the smoke plumes were, you could see them from orbit. And there was amateur footage where you could see there were body bags that were moving, and they were just burning people alive in China. And the rough estimates from people in China who have spoken out and whistleblowers was that they probably killed 1 billion people in China. I remember they were boarding people up in their houses so you couldn't even leave your house and you would starve to death. They had a lot of archaic stuff going on in China, medieval shit. And they dropped their population. And the rest of us that took the vaccine, we're watching our populations drop heavily. So it's happening. The way I see it, racism is the way it is. Absolutely. Yeah, until you get the Iraq war vets. Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, those war vets, nobody gives a shit about them. And so it's like, why throw your life away on a pointless war? It doesn't make sense. Right wing don't want to be left gone. Some people have sickle cells. Some people do. I believe that's true. I've met people with sickle cells that have died, actually. I'm not far right or left. I believe everyone claiming my representation without my consent is a criminal. I go to my congregation and tell my congressman to his face, you should, but your congressman doesn't work for you. He works for money and he works for lobbyists. Once he's put in power, he doesn't know who you are anymore. Personally, eventually, the reason I make all these videos and I spend so much time talking to the camera, I do these videos for free. People do donations, they do super chats, they send me cash apps. I don't ask for them because I do these videos for free. The reason I'm doing it for free is because I want people to know my stance on every subject. Because in the future, I'm going to ask my audience to tell me what jurisdiction in the country needs me the most, and I'll go run for some type of office there. What I'll do is I'll set up a studio, and every single day, wherever I'm elected to be in whatever position, I'll sit there with a microphone and I will literally talk to my constituents every single day about the topics in the area, the news, our local issues. Anybody will be able to have an audience. And that's how it should be with your politicians. Transparency and communication. We don't have that. Did you know there are some state representatives that are in their 90s right now still being paid? What the fuck can a person born in the 30s talk to me about in 2026? What can they talk to me about? What can a person born in the 40s have a conversation with me about today? They are so disconnected from reality and from current times. There's nothing they can talk to me about. But they're still being paid and they're still a state rep. We have to have higher standards for our representatives. They should be forced to sit and talk to people all day long. You shouldn't be able to just disappear, become a recluse in your house. Most people don't even know what their state representative looks like. If their state or city rep walked by them in a fucking store, they wouldn't know who that person was. That means they're not visual. So then how'd they get your vote? How'd they get into power? I don't like it. So I'm going to help change it. And the way I'll do it is by setting a new standard. See, when people start noticing that, hey, the representative over here, he sits and talks to people every day. Why isn't my rep doing that? I want my rep to start, and then they'll start having town halls and you'll have one person bring up me and say, hey, why aren't you talking like Rico Limbaugh? Why aren't you talking every day? Why do you have a studio in your house? You have a nice house, right? You paid a salary. Why don't you have a camera? You can't afford a camera. Why aren't you doing lives where we can talk about our topics in our city and what's going on with the budget and all these different, why aren't you transparent? See, Trump's transparent. Trump does, I remember with Biden, you get a one press conference a month or something, once every 3 weeks, and it only lasted 4 minutes, and then they would shoo everybody out. With Trump, even when we're tired of hearing from the fucker, he's going to talk. Transparency. He's setting a new standard. That's why we noticed, damn, we don't hear from Joe Biden because we were so used to hearing from Trump. So when people get used to hearing from me all the time, they're going to ask their other reps in other parts of the country, why aren't you talking to us like him? Why aren't you talking? I want to talk to you. Why do I got to write you? Oh, do me a favor, write your congressman in 2026. You think I'm about to go home, write a letter, lick it, go buy a fucking stamp? Where the fuck do you even buy stamps? Do mailboxes even exist anymore? I haven't checked my mail in 8 months. I have mail that I'm sure is being sent back, and they're saying, oh, there's an issue because my mailbox is full. But it's not affecting my life because I get all my bills and shit via email. But you want me to go snail mail, lick an envelope, and write my congressman. My congressman should have a forum where there's a live that I can join and I can talk to the fucker in real time and ask a question. Of course, you're going to have staff members that are going to filter out the people before you go up there and talk to them. That would be natural. You can't have somebody get on there and say, hi, Congressman. What I want to say is, fuck her in the pussy. You can't do that. You can't have somebody get up there and they think it's a joke. You're going to need some actual real people who have some serious questions, who are involved in the community, et cetera, or in your city or your state. Depends on what level you are on at that time. You're going to need that. But that's how you change things, is by creating a new standard, a higher standard. So that's what my plans are. And that's why I make all these videos all the time. The world is too small now. The world is too small now, sadly. Yeah, the world is a lot smaller than it used to be. It's a very small world. Society has been gay before. No, not like it is now. Not like, even the gay Romans had wives and kids. So it's nothing like it is now. That's a big difference. No, yeah, another black foreigner committed those heinous crimes, and unfortunately, blacks who were born here who are not Americans. See, a lot of you blacks, you guys aren't American. You were born in the country. It doesn't make you an American. You hate this country. You refer to yourself as an African American. That's a different country, and and that's not even on your passport. I don't know where the country of African America is. So you're confused. And because of that, you can't really give anybody any advice. You're not in a position to do so. Trump is the one who bombed Iran. I never said he didn't. So stop saying America went into some gay woman. Trump did it. What are you talking about? I didn't say that. Most Americans you call idiots disagree with you. That's not true. A lot of people agree with me. I don't call them all idiots. The ones I call idiots are the ones who will literally look at something and ignore it. I'll give you an example. I asked you to look at this and explain it to me. The fact that you can't means you're an idiot. So, Stephen Bagby, not you per se, because I don't think you're an idiot. I think you can look at this and explain to me what I'm reading. Newsom signs bill intended to end discrimination against LGBTQ people in sex crime convictions. So what I'm reading is that Newsom signs a bill intended to help people convicted of sex crimes. What did you read? If you can type this in my chat, but you can't respond to this question, that makes you an idiot. If you can talk about Trump being a pedophile, but you don't want to talk about laws to protect pedophiles, that's what makes you an idiot, because you would be morally inconsistent and your outrage would be selective, which is a problem for me. But I don't think that that's you, Stephen. I don't think that's you. I think you can look at this and tell me what you see. I don't think you're going to brush past it or ignore it. I think you'll talk about it. But if you don't, you're an idiot. You have a choice. Saying somebody's an idiot and just not giving them a way to prove they're not, that's bad. I'm actually giving you an option. You can choose to be idiot, but you have like 4 other choices, like multiple choice. So let's see if you say anything about it. Let's see here. Sorry, there's a lot of comments. I'm trying to get down to them all the way. Mass starvation is always a weapon of the state. It is, and it works. It's worked. I mean, think about it. There's nothing new under the sun. There's only so many other ways or tactics you can do besides going in there and shooting somebody. Just starve them. Why waste the bullets? I don't think a communist is even worth the bullet. Starve them. You idiots believe that this conspiracy theorist. I mean, you must believe some of it. You're here. Big Herb. Big Herb. Or is it Big Herp? You got some big herpes, big herb. Is that what that is? You're a big ass herp. Okay. Exactly. My congressman brags about beating his wife and had been in power for so very long. Yeah, they're untouchable at a certain point. They're untouchable. In the 40s, can tell you about government enforcing farmers to burn crops. Yeah. They were starving people out, or they were getting rid of crops that used to grow multiple types of fruits because they were trying to change and control the food supply. Yeah, but essentially starving people out. Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, my rep, they talk in circles around the bush. Yeah, then you can't speak to them. They won't speak to you. They ask you to vote down ballot, and that's how you accidentally vote for them. But they don't care about you. And not saying it's a person's job as an individual to care about you. They don't care to talk to you is what I mean. I don't expect a politician or a country or anything to love me. I don't need you to fucking embrace me. I do need you to respect me enough where you want my vote bad enough where you'll speak to me and engage with me. That's all I care about. I don't need you to hug me. I don't need you to kiss me on my cheek, tell me you love me. I just need you to talk to me when I want to have a conversation with you about policy that's affecting me. That's all. What's up with the right side of the screen? I don't know. I can't see the right side of the screen. Oh, this is the comment section. That's all it is. This is on TikTok. This is from my TikTok page. So that's why it's there. It was a video I interrupted. Al Gore, he took all his scared money and fucked off so fast. You know why? Because Trump wasn't letting him do that green new scam, global warming hoax, climate change, globalist bullshit. Isn't it weird? Trump gets elected and all the bullshit goes away. No one's talking about global warming. No one's talking about climate change. No one's talking about emissions and using carbon credits. All the scam bullshit, all the fear tactics to control you, everything goes away. You know what's crazy? I'm old enough to remember when Obama was president, we used to have a terror alert. Who remembers that? Now, I'm from California. We used to have an air quality alert where it'll be some days it'll be orange, some days it'll be red, some days it'll be green. And they'll say the air quality is this bad in LA today. But then when Obama became president, on CNN, they had terror. They had terror alerts. Some days was red, some days was green, some days was yellow. And they had terror alerts. Those terror alerts used to scare the fuck out of old people. Literally, old people would go to the hospital and have anxiety attacks because it would say there was a terror alert that was elevated on Wednesday and it'd go down on Thursday. And it's like, what the fuck? This fake, nonsensical bullshit. Everything the left, these Democrats, is all just to keep you in a constant state of fear, constant state of anxiety, constant state of sadness, just low vibrational bullshit. I do remember that. And I know a lot of you do too. Yes, I agree with you. Exactly. No excuses for these reps. They want the pocketbook and who paid them immediately. You don't like it, don't run for office. I agree. Absolutely agree. Too much cursing for me. MAGA would consider you one of the violent ones. I could care less what they consider me. But then again, we're all individuals. We all agree on a common goal, which is to make our country better because we live here. Now, if I lived, if I spent half my time in another country, I wouldn't care too much about the United States. I wouldn't give a damn. But this is my home. I love my country. I want my people to do better, but I want us to demand better. But I'm not going to see that change unless I become a part of it, which is why I make these videos. I do them for free. I spend my time doing them. I could be out drinking somewhere. I could be at the casino right now. I could be doing some other stuff. I'm choosing to be here with you because I want to see things get better and change. Sorry if you don't like the cussing. It comes with English. I'm a passionate person. And, this is not necessarily the family friendly part. It's 5 a.m. I try to do less cursing when my videos are going up at 2 and 3 in the afternoon in case there are kids watching. However, when we're talking right now on live, it's a little bit different. Go walk up where? Walk my butt where? Where do you want me to go? I already went everywhere I needed to go today. I'm white and 4 generations of war and I hate my country. The only thing I hear is leave. That is insane. This is my country. That doesn't make any sense. If you hate your country, you should leave your country. You shouldn't stay somewhere that you hate. That's like saying I hate my wife, but I don't want to get a divorce. That doesn't make any sense. If you hate something, change it. Change your situation. The only person that's going to listen, you are your own person. The only person that's going to experience your life as you is you. You have to do what's best for your human experience. If you hate this country, look, you have 190 plus other countries to choose from. Find a country that is more ideologically in line with you and your beliefs and go there. For example, I keep seeing people that are like, Spanish people, you guys are deporting the Mexicans, you're deporting Spanish people. The immigrants are the best parts of this country. The immigrants built the country. The immigrants are what make this country special. My response is prove it. Since we've had a monopoly on the illegal labor for all these years, we're going to now spread the wealth. We're going to send these illegals to other countries. In no time, these countries should be just as good as the United States, if what you're saying is correct. If you love these people from these Spanish countries so much, why don't you fly there? And why aren't you greeting them when the deportations planes land? Why aren't you greeting them and helping them get their shit together? And why aren't you making those countries better? Why are you wasting your time over here if those other countries and those people are superior? It doesn't make any sense. So that's why I would have to say you're full of shit. If you hate the country, leave the country. Don't waste your time staying here. That's just my suggestion. This guy is not dumb. He's paid to say what he is saying. Yeah, sure. Who's paying me? Oh, I'm a bot. Yeah, he said I'm a bot. So I'm not an actual person. I'm a bot. I'm an AI. You know what? I think that's a compliment. I used to watch a lot of Star Trek, The Next Generation as a kid. That's how I learned to speak English. And I thought Data was actually one of my favorite characters. So I appreciate the compliment. If you want to blow me also, you can just send me an email. We'll set that up. There are criminals, white collar fraud in America. Yeah, they're called Somalians. That's MAGA's whole issue, inconsistent morals and selective outrage. That's not MAGA's issue. And our outrage is spread out against a lot of different topics. Do you not read the article? I literally read the entire article. Do you want to discuss it? If you do, Mr. Mullet, Unicorn Mullet, then I can bring you up, or you can type in the chat what you read from the article and you can explain it to me. I read the article. He signed a bill that prohibits discrimination against people who are 18 and slept with 17-year-olds. It has to do with age clusters. That is incorrect. Because if that was the case, then it wouldn't be because it wouldn't have anything to do with the LGBTQ. If this was only about age, 17 and 18-year-olds, then it wouldn't be discrimination against LGBTQ. Because the last time I checked, gay people and straight people, we use the same calendar to calculate our age. So you're actually being disingenuous, or you didn't read, or you're trying to cover up for what this policy that Newsom, this bill that Newsom passed, you're trying to cover up its real intentions. So I'll give you another chance. I'm not going to correct you right now. I'm going to correct you as far as I did, but I'll give you another chance to come in and explain this to me. Climate change is not real, Unicorn Mullet. I remember, Brian, you remember the terror alerts. Hilarious. Don't you remember? Isn't that crazy? We don't have any of that no more because Trump's president. It's like once we have a strong man as a president, we lose the whole spirit of fear. We're not afraid of shit anymore. I'm not scared of nothing. But every day as a Democrat, what was Biden telling you? My patience is running thin. It's going to be a winter of death. It's going to be a dark winter and everything's going to die. And everybody, it's like, shut your fucking old senile Jim Carrey ass. Shut the hell up, Biden. Liar. Fire Marshal Bill. Lies. To keep you in a constant state of fear. Trump's not keeping us in a constant state of anything. If anything, he's telling us jokes, even when it's not a joking time. He's still cracking fucking jokes. Where's the fear? Maybe there's nothing to fear besides fear itself. Well, I was able to read enough that I could read you the word Newsom. I read that. So maybe you're right. Maybe I am an illiterate. Maybe I am just like you. You've never seen me read an article. You never see me read a speech because I can't read. I'm just like you. Matt reviews too. I am an idiot like you. I cannot read because I got a 960 SAT. Even though you get an 880 for spelling your name correctly, I'm just an idiot like you. Does that make you feel better? You feel connected to Gavin? You like my Gavin impression? Good for you, fucking weirdo. At who cost will America get better? I guess it's going to cost us our own time. And it's basically we're the Americans. We only have to deal with the Americans. We're marooned on a continent pretty much alone. We have two large oceans. We have a southern border that's no longer porous. We have a northern border. So we're pretty much isolated. So whatever we do here in America is going to be at our own expense. Global domination eliminates American stability. That is true, which is why we are against globalism. That's why America we're not the Canadians, we're not the Europeans. We are not going to fall to globalism where we listen to their predictions of doom and gloom. Like Trump said, America will remain in the hands of patriots and nationalists. I am a nationalist, patriot, conservative. A Republican's not really a thing. That's uniparty talk. We're a hybrid, but we're something greater. But I'm a nationalist. I believe in the country. It's America first, and it's America only when it comes to my opinion. Let's see here. And in America, I can stay and speak out about what needs to change. I can stay and say I hate it. You can do it, but it's not good for your own personal sanity. If you must not hate it, or you wouldn't be here. That's like going to a restaurant and you're saying they just gave me a burger, but the meat is made of dog shit, and they put two buns around it with lettuce, but it's actual animal feces. I'm gonna stay here and eat this dog shit because I have a right to do so, because I'm an American and I believe in freedom, and I can speak out against the dog shit patty. I'm eating feces, but I'm gonna eat the feces. If you don't like the feces and it's that bad, go eat at another restaurant. Go somewhere else. Why would you stay here just to complain about it? Don't complain, change. That's what women do. Don't be a woman, be a man. Change your scenario. Don't just sit around and cry about it. Do something about it. Like leave. Complaining about a policy is not hating the country. You haven't complained about a policy. And I never said it was hating the country. The man literally said, I hate the country. That's not him complaining about the policy. That's him saying, I hate the country. Well, if you hate the country, go live somewhere else. That was my suggestion, Truckin. Data was legit, bro. He was a hell of a character. I mean, that was they gave us one of the most amazing television series in human civilization. Star Trek: The Next Generation. Jean-Luc Picard, Riker, Data. Remember the guy from Reading Rainbow? Geordie LaForge. Yeah, Star Trek: Next Generation was based. Absolutely. You can't say you support freedom and advocate for citizens to leave. That's not true. You can still be free. You have the freedom to leave. America is not the only country that has freedom. We're the only country that has freedom of speech. We're the only country that has a right to bear arms. But if you're a liberal, you don't care about guns and you don't want people to be able to say things you don't like. So you don't care about free speech either. So you being a citizen does not mean you have to be a citizen of the United States. You can be a citizen of a country that you agree with. You don't have to live here. It's not, remember, this is not fascism. You're forced under fascism to stay under fascism. But we can't be fascistic if you have the option to repatriate yourself and go elsewhere. That's my point. And you should be able to agree with that. You're a hypocrite. How? I'm pretty consistent. Trump and the Republicans want the guy picking cotton on a farm, and he's on his knees for them. What's wrong with picking cotton? What's wrong with working on a farm? It's a hard day's work, and it sounds like a person who's gainfully employed. Why you non-rich people look down upon people who work or try to delegitimize labor, it doesn't make any sense to me. There's nothing wrong with working on a farm and picking cotton. It's gainful employment. You never think you're too good for that. Never think you're above that. You're not. You can't get any dumber than that. That's not oppression. That's work. You can never conflate oppression with work and labor you're being compensated for. That you welfare junkies, you guys have a lot of those same issues. You believe everything should be, you guys are communists. You think everything should be free. The state should solve your problem. The state owes you, and you shouldn't have to work for anything. And you want me to use my tax dollars to support your communist utopia that you live in the ghetto. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm actually abstaining from taxes this year. Apparently, we give away too much money in taxes to the point that we can afford sex change surgeries for hamsters who are doing underwater ski exhibits in Cambodia, like weird shit that how can we afford to do that? That means we have too much tax money. So I'm against that too. The point is, why would you? I agree. Fuck the excuses. We know right from wrong. And we've had enough of the creeps and degenerative influences that we're done with it. It's over. And that's why when people in other countries are begging to be gay, I'm like, fuck you. You guys don't know what you're asking for. We have 40 years to see what happens when we give people all the gay rights and all the liberation they want, and they reject it later and they commit suicide and they're sad and depressed and they're alone. Like it's not human. Like I meet these women, they were never intended to be this old with no husband and no kids and no purpose. They were never, you can tell they were never meant to be this age. And now they're just lost. They're just floating around. And now everyone's calling the police on them. And you go watch watch the body cam footage. It's all a bunch of women. They don't have any other male interaction. They got to literally have the police called on them because that's the only man forced to put up with their shit anymore. So yeah, you don't know what you're asking for. And that's why when it comes to women, we have to protect them from themselves, which is pretty much that's been understood for all of human civilization until 30 years ago. Trump got rid of the department that puts on the terror alerts. Yes, he did. And he's an amazing man for doing so. Depender, do you mind giving us, can you mind being more specific? Trump is just as bad, if not worse. Just as bad or if not worse about what? Be more specific if you don't mind. Be more specific. I can say I hate it. I can say whatever the hell I want. Any citizen can. Unicorn mullet, nobody said you can't. What I said is that if you hate it, move somewhere else that you love and enjoy your human experience. Don't sit here and be and filled with hate and anger about your country. Just change the country, drop the citizenship and go live somewhere else. America's not the only country on earth. Go live somewhere else that you're happy. Why live here in complete anger and be disgruntled? Just leave and go somewhere else better. What the hell are you still doing here? Bye. Or you're full of shit and you really love it here and you're just saying that for attention. Either way. Fuck unicorn. Brian, I agree with you. Well, I mean, I don't want to say fuck them. I just say, I disagree with them. I think, you should be a man. As a man, you have a choice on where you want to live. Again, you don't have to eat the hamburger patty, which is really just a compressed piece of dog shit. Like, that's gross. Like, just go eat at another restaurant. You don't have to eat the dog shit. I hate dog shit. Then why are you eating it? I'm a citizen. That's not an excuse to eat dog shit. Fucking go eat something else. You have no right to tell a citizen to leave. Yes, I do. I can tell you any fucking thing I want to. Tell you anything. I say anything I want to you. Period. And I'm giving you a suggestion. It's my opinion. You should go live somewhere else and stop eating dog shit. It'll make you sick. Like, why are you eating feces in the first place? Go eat somewhere else and go live somewhere else. Yes, they are pedo lovers. They're Democrats. Once you tell a citizen to leave, you become un-American. That's not true. You can tell citizens to give up their citizenship and go be a citizen somewhere else. They have citizenship in other countries. If I'm telling you to be a citizen somewhere else, I'm still telling you to be a citizen. Just somewhere that you're going to love, not a place that you hate. The Dems are washed up. Yeah. You don't believe in freedom. You believe in complaining. You're the opposite of a free person. You're a slave. You're a mental slave. You don't want to leave the United States because you get welfare. You get housing benefits. You're getting Section 8. You're poor. Because of that, you can't afford to leave the United States. That's why you're here, for the entitlements. But just like any other spoiled piece of shit, you complain about your rich parents who support you. You hate them, but you need them. So that's why you're still here in the United States eating shit patties. It's not because you believe in freedom. It's because you're a dependent. You're not free. You're a slave. As long as the government is supporting you, you're a slave. You're a free man when you're supporting yourself and your family on your own without begging for handouts from the government or from other institutions. When you're an independent person that supports your family, then you're not a slave. Then you're a free man. But you're a dependent. So you're a child. You're a slave. You're not a free person. And you can't ever leave the United States because no one's going to give you free food. So you're here for the peanuts. That's fine. Eat the peanuts. Yeah, it's a lot of parroting and posturing. I agree. Yeah, you can choose. Yeah, you don't got to be, you can't choose where you were born, but you can choose where you reside. You have that choice every single day. You can choose to live here or you can choose to live somewhere else. I've lived in 7 different countries. You can go anywhere you want to. You don't have to live here under Trump and under ICE and under our laws. You can leave. A lot of liberals are going to Canada right now. I support that. I'm with it. Go to Canada. What's wrong with living somewhere that allows you to be as gay as you want? Canada loves the gays. Go live in Canada. You can go up there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and no, it's expensive in Canada. They're not going to just let you live for free. You're going to have to pay to play. But if you can't afford to live in the United States and that's why you hate it, then you're definitely not going to have a good time in Canada. So maybe you're right, actually, when it comes to that. Like, I'll give you an example. This is a person who I was just looking at online, and they repatriated themselves to Canada. Where are they? I was just trying to watch a video about this person, and they didn't like the United States no more. They didn't want to be. They hate it here. They hate the country. And what we did was there was a program and a fundraiser, and it paid them to drop their citizenship and move to Canada, which was great for them, which was a good move. I don't understand why you would reject living in another country that you're happier in. So let me see here. I think it was Tim Pool. Tim shared it. Yeah, I want to see here. Tim Pool, Canada. Let's see here. Let's see here. There's a liberal guy. Let's see here. Tim Pool, Canada. Liberal. Let's see. Where is this video? That's the one thing I hate about X. It doesn't index everything in a way that's easy to find. And it's not in chronological order, because this would have been one of his most recent posts. Let's see here. Tim Pool, Liberal Canada, relocated. It's a good post actually. It's funny. Right here. This is good.
Building an American, and you're gonna come out a Canadian.
I'm gonna go into that building in American, come out in Canadian.
Ellen and Bandit. Theodore. All right, big smiles, everyone. Smile here. Hello. How does it feel to be Canadian?
This could be you, Mullet. All you have to do is believe and wish upon a star, and maybe Jiminy Cricket and Pinocchio will come and make you a good little boy of wood, and they'll send you to fucking Canada.
Feels great. I feel like instantly changed. You know, on the drive home, I was letting everyone in front of me, and then we went to go get lunch. And
that's what it means to be a Canadian. You let everybody in front of you. An American would have literally stopped everybody and stayed and cut in the line. But he wants to be a Canadian, let everybody in front of him. That's fine. Listen, Mullet, there's life outside of America. All you have to do is just not have to beg the government for money, and you can go live somewhere else. This could be you. Look how happy this fucker is. Look at him, bro. He is elated with his flannel. This could be you, Mullet. This could be you.
It was completely crowded, so I was like, I'll come back. And I just, I've fully embraced being a Canadian already.
Look at that smile, Mullet. Don't let life pass you by, Mullet. Don't let life pass you by. Don't. Embrace it. Edward Thornton said, that's a false that's a false equivalency. If someone serves you a burger made of dog shit and you can choose not to eat at that restaurant, but a lot of people can't choose just to go to some other country. Yes, they can. You're an American. You can do anything you put your mind to. No one's stopping you from going to another country. Matter of fact, the illegals and the migrants that come to this country, they come here with nothing. So you can go to another country with nothing as well. You can go to another country with nothing and start all over from scratch. The same way other people come here and start over from scratch. You can do it too. So yes, you can. You have the option. Don't shortchange. Don't sell yourself short, Edward. You don't get to insist that I don't know if you're even an American. Yeah, you speak English. Yeah, you have some citizenship. Does that make you an American? No, you hate America. You hate this country. You're not no fucking American. You're a leech. You're just another person living here, benefiting off our country, but you're too chicken shit to go somewhere else, but you hate it here and you complain about it here, but you still live here. You're a spoiled kid. You're a leech. You're a dependent. You're a slave. The slaves hate, think about it. The slaves hate America. Black people hate America. They won't go back to Africa. Black people say they're slaves, but they won't leave America. And they say they hate it here. You and the blacks say the same thing. So you're a slave too. You're not a citizen. You're a slave. Yes. Did the 14th Amendment grant citizenship to the slaves? It did. Does that mean that they're proud Americans? It doesn't. You just have citizenship by default, but you're not really an American. You're just a dependent. You're just another slave. So, well, I mean, that's just the facts of it. Newsom was the governor in California that denied reparations. There are no reparations for anybody who was not alive during any period that you're claiming. The people who got reparations for when they put the Japanese in internment camps were the actual people that were in the internment camps. The Jews that got reparations for the Holocaust were the ones who survived the fake or whatever situation that happened over there in Auschwitz. There are no blacks that were slaves 150 years ago who are still alive. There are no reparations coming for you. You can't prove slavery. You can't prove you were ever a slave because you weren't. So because of that, the burden of proof is on you. You don't have it. You can't tell me a story of somebody who might or might not have lived hundreds of years ago that you never met in person and expect me to give you money. That is an asinine idiot. That's a situation where, as politicians, we lie to people to get their votes because they're dumb, because they're poor. Poor people are waiting for somebody to just give them money Why would somebody give a poor person money? Obviously, you're bad with money. No one's going to dig into a piece of their budget and give you a check knowing you're going to misappropriate it. No one's going to do that. But every few years, so that we make sure we keep you on board for your votes, we're going to tell you we're going to open up a commission to study reparations. You're never going to get a penny. You're going to die waiting on it, just like your check for asbestos that you were hoping you were going to get all them years ago. You're going to die waiting on it the same way you're going to die waiting on that Publishers Clearinghouse check. The reparations check is being administered by Publishers Clearinghouse. So basically, you subscribe to Time Magazine, National Geographic, and Vogue. That's going to increase your odds of us showing up with a reparations check and some balloons. So just keep subscribing, okay, to Vogue and National Geographic and Time, and you might get a reparations check. Just make sure you keep your subscriptions up to date, because if they lapse, then you start all over again from the very beginning of the line of wait for reparations. So don't let it lapse. Keep your subscriptions, okay? That is hilarious. Zach Friedman, thank you. They are not, some of them are not as receptive to the brutal truths. Do you think 400 years of slavery will have no repercussions on America's future? No. Nope. There was no 400 years of slavery at all. America's not even 400 years old. And the people here were indentured servants. They were gainfully employed. They tended to the land, and in exchange, they were able to live on the land, and they were giving housing. They had agreements with the landlords. They weren't slaves. There was no slavery. They were people who chose to work on the land. It was their job. Now, here we are 100 years in the future, and you guys reject the labor and work, and then you wonder why you're at the bottom. At least back then, you were gainfully employed. So, America was built by a Black American in my imagination. Yeah, that's the only place a Black person built America, was in your imagination. So while you were asleep. But you can do all kind of shit while you're asleep in your imagination. I mean, think about it. Black people built up Africa too. Yeah, how's that construction going? I don't think you guys just saved all your expertise for the United States and just fucked off Africa. I'm pretty sure you guys are consistent. I mean, even the cities you're governors and mayors of right now are all fucked up. So I don't see you building a country unless the results of the country would be just as bad as the cities that you guys are managing. So that already means that it's not consistent. That means you're lying about it. And Africa looks like shit. It's a shithole. So you guys, I doubt you guys are just saving all the good stuff for the Americas. That just means you're lying. It's not true. You guys didn't build shit. Nothing. Don't fuck Unicorn. He's an American. I don't think so. Driving him out is not correct. I don't see him being an American. I just see him being another freeloader. America, look at him. America was built by immigrants. No, it wasn't at all. And if it did, why aren't they building up other countries? Now that we're deporting them, why aren't these other countries starting to look like the United States? Let me know which country that we've been sending all the deportees to. Let me know how far away they are from their country looking like the US, and then I'll agree with you. Until then, I think you're full of shit. Leave. Why is leaving dumb? If America is not your cup of tea, leave. This is not the only country on earth. You have options. Why are you forcing it? Leave. Go find a new home, a place that loves you. The only reason you can is because you get Social Security. So you need that check. I get it. Just admit it. You're a dependent. You're a slave. You can't, and you're afraid to leave. Just say that. Nothing worse than a black man. I agree. I'm not a black person, so I agree with you. Maybe you're right, Cisco. And you know what? Thank you. I know some white people, and whenever you guys call them supreme, they appreciate it. That. Thank you, Cisco. White people are pretty supreme. So you calling them supreme in my chat, it just validates that they're supreme. So thank you. But then again, it also reinforces that you have a personal inferiority complex that you need to work on, which is sad because you feel somebody else is supreme. So that means you feel that yourself is inferior. And I think you should have a better outlook on yourself, unless you know yourself and you know you're a low life. In that case, then you have every right to feel inferior because you are. If y'all can't get over slavery and stop that, the slavery is over, it didn't happen, then you'd have to get over it. But yeah, that's agree. It's nothing to get over. It never happened. There was no transatlantic slave trade. The movie Roots was fake. It's all just bullshit stories. None of that shit is real. It was all fake. It's a psyop, basically. I'm afraid to be an American anywhere now. I'm a walking embodiment of what's wrong. It just depends. Some countries do blame Americans for the actions of the United States government, but they are not going to say anything to you. They might be a little rude to you, maybe your waiter if you're in France or something, but other parts of the world, as long as you have money, people are going to shut the fuck up, because as Americans, we're known for being aggressive and we have a history of kicking ass. So a lot of people they're not going to disrespect you to your face or anything, but they might not. I mean, if you ask them, if there's like you guys are in close quarters or something, they might be a little rude to you. I mean, again, I've lived in other parts of the world. I've had these conversations with, people. None of them want to fight me, but then again, they're not dumb. They're just foreigners. So FDT, is that the fire department? Yeah, it's good department. Yes. Did you sign up for Trump's Epstein war? I did not. Unfortunately, I didn't sign up for the Epstein wars. I didn't. But I did tell people, if you keep begging for the Epstein files to be released, then they're going to have to do a distraction, because the Epstein files are the vaccine files. And if you read through all the COVID files, the vaccine files, you would find out that they are really the COVID files. And they specifically made the injections that they're calling vaccines to depopulate the high testosterone black population, which is why you see so many blacks dying from it. And all they're going to do is try to blame Trump on being a racist eugenicist. And that's why we had to stop all the files from the Epstein files coming out. But you saw in the files, Epstein said, hey, how do we get rid of all these poor black people? And him and Bill Gates figured out a campaign to do so. I remember Bill Gates' wife saying, we need the black people and the Native Americans to take the vaccine first. As a white woman, she's saying we need the blacks to take it first. And the blacks are so brain dead, they're like, sounds like a good idea to me. And then they did it. So that's on them. Hold up, I'm not married and I don't have kids. I'm also not gay. What is the problem? Well, the culture here in the United States is not conducive to you getting married or having kids at the moment. You would literally have to move to another conservative nation in an attempt to meet a traditional wife so that you can have those things that a human man would want, which is a wife and children. That's only natural. It's hard to have that here in the United States. And it's hard to even move to it's hard to go to another country, meet a better woman and bring her here, because 3 conversations with an American woman and that mind virus that makes these American women, that makes them disqualified, that virus that destroyed her mind, she could spread it to another woman. It's infectious through the English language, and it would turn her against you. I have a friend of mine that I work with, and he has this beautiful wife from Cali, Colombia. And me and him we were at dinner talking a few weeks ago, and he was like, you know what? I love my wife, but he was like, I messed up. And I was like, what do you mean you messed up? He was like, I should have never moved her here, because now that she's here, if she talks to a couple of American women and they tell her that she can sue me and she can take money from me and she can live the same lifestyle she has by having a husband, except she gets to be single, what if she ever wants to take her up on that offer? And I didn't think about that when I moved her here. I should have just married. I should have just been with her there. We could have had a family and a house in Colombia, and I just go back and forth for work. I shouldn't have moved her here, because the culture here in the United States is predatory towards men. And it's now I don't know. I'm gonna wake up one day and she could just want a divorce and take a bunch of my money. And I can completely agree with them, 1,000%. So I'm sure you also are probably in the same situation. It's just, so if you do go find a wife and have a family somewhere else, you can bring the kids, just don't bring the woman here and don't officially marry her, because then she can probably have rights to citizenship. But then again, I think Trump shut that down too last year. So you might be okay. There's nothing wrong with supporting Trump's good decision. Is great, but to drink bodies, what does that mean? I have no idea what that means, but whatever you're doing with Trump is up to you. Ruckus, causing a lot of ruckus. Yes. Unmarried, don't have kids, lesbian. Oh shit, you're a lesbian, mullet? No wonder you're all fucked up. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you. There's nothing to argue about. You're confused as it is. You don't even know what you're talking. You don't know which way is up. There's no point. So that's why you have to understand your audience. Some people are not worth the conversation. They're arguing in circles. You're never gonna be able to have a meeting of the minds. It's not gonna happen. Thank you. Thank you. You remind me of Samuel L. Jackson in Die Hard 2. Thank you. Yeah, that was a good ass movie. I love Die Hard with Samuel L. Jackson. That was a good one. He's a great actor. Ridiculous. Freedom is great. I agree. I want to go see Japan and pray at beautiful temples. Go hit up Indonesia, pray at some more beautiful temples. I feel this country took that from me. The good thing is this: you can always fly out, go see the world. You can come back, but once you get into these other parts of the world, you might want to stay. Again, I've lived in 7 different countries. I'm back in the US right now for work, but also I'm also pushing the America First agenda. I do love my country. It's just that under Democrats, it was inhospitable. The policies were wrong. The economy was destroyed. The pushing vaccines that gave all my friends and everybody I know cancer and all these diseases, pushing abortions. The country was inhospitable. So I moved somewhere that was safer, that was better. And I came back when I saw that Kamala wasn't going to win. So everybody has a choice on where they decide to, live. Now, if you're a woman and you're gay, you're on Social Security, you don't have a family, you don't have anywhere else to go. Your life is cooked. Might as well just stay where you are and just veg out. If you can choose where you reside, why don't you go to Beverly Hills and see how they welcome you? I live in Beverly Hills, actually. I live in California. I'm in Arizona at the moment, but I still have my place in Los Angeles. I still live in Beverly Hills. It's what's wrong with Beverly Hills? It's not super glamorous. A lot of those houses are old. If you want to know where the ritzy nice parts are to live, it's more so Brentwood. I actually, my family's from an area called Angeles Vista in like Ladera Heights area. I sold my house over in Westchester in LA. And then I moved to downtown Los Angeles, but I still have my mailing address in Beverly Hills. I still have my place that I'm renting out in Beverly Hills. But there's nothing wrong with Beverly Hills. It's just a lot of the properties are dated, and it's also, it's not conveniently located anymore because it's not close to the freeway. When you're living in Los Angeles, the worst thing is when you're fighting traffic on the freeways, and when you exit, now you got to fight street traffic to get to where you want to live. That's why you always want to live close to the freeway. You don't want to sit there and have to drive an extra hour to go 3 miles on the streets into a city. You want to be close to the exit. And that's how we live in California. We're strategic people. Let's see here. Virgilo Sarmac said, why should I leave? I'm not the one causing the problem. The person causing the problem should leave, and that's Trump. Trump's the president. We voted for him. We didn't vote for you, Virgilo. We don't like you. We like Trump. As Americans, we voted for Trump, and we voted for Trump to kick you out of the country. So you can stay as long as you want, but you're better off deportating yourself instead of forcing us to do it. Because if you force us, we're going to put you in a box. Now, you can end up like Renee Good in a box made of pine, or you could end up like the others in a box made of metal, but you do have a choice. You should leave. Saying that a country should get rid of their president over you is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. The president is the leader. He's our commander in chief. We voted for him, but we voted for him to get rid of you. We don't want you. We want our president. We don't like you. We like the president. That's why the president won. Did you run for office? No, nobody would vote for you. We voted for Trump. So don't compare yourself to Trump. You're going to make yourself look crazy. I can guarantee you have not lived in 7 different countries. I can guarantee that I have. And if you follow me on social media, you would have known that already. But you don't follow me on social media, so you don't. What backward state are you in? I'm currently in Scottsdale, Arizona right now. I will be here. I'm either going back to Houston today or tomorrow. Wow, what a bunch of keyboard warriors in this chat. You people on this internet have no life. I agree, they are a bunch of keyboard. I mean, it's the internet, you know? In real life, these people would be sweet as pie, right as rain. I've met some of these. You know what? It's crazy. I was at a place called the Culinary Dropout the other day having dinner with my aunt. And somebody actually, it's crazy. It was one of my first times being recognized. Somebody actually recognized me from YouTube. And they were like, "Are you a YouTuber?" And I was like, "I've never been called a YouTuber because I don't consider myself a YouTuber. I'm just a guy complaining on the internet about shit and talking about how much I love being an American." But that's it. I'm not really a YouTuber. I mean, I don't do what Mr. Beast does. I don't do TikTok dances and go around and doing contests. And so I don't consider myself a YouTuber, but somebody recognized me from YouTube. They didn't really say much about my content, but they were very friendly, you know, and they talked to me. And we sat there, we talked for a few seconds in passing, but it wasn't any, I mean, no one's going to get hostile or anything like that. So it doesn't matter, but I mean, someone recognized me from there. So I wouldn't consider myself a YouTuber, but it was actually cool that somebody actually recognized me, but I didn't really think people really paid much attention. But then again, like for example, this live right here, when I do the analytics, it'll say thousands of people. And I don't know. I know there's people in the comments, but I can't see because I'm on 8 different platforms right now. So my YouTube analytics are not my Kick and my Twitch and my X and my Facebook. It's different analytics, but I'm on StreamYard. So it's all these different channels. I'm simulcasting at once. So, but once it's over and I go check my analytics, then I'll see, X amount of thousands of people were watching the live, engaging. So that's why, it's, I'm not really sure until later, but it's like I said, they're keyboard warriors, but in real life, they're not bad people. Just some people are just confused. They're simple, and they're lost. They've never had anybody even, we're in the age of the internet. People have never been so disconnected. People are so disconnected. Because you have the internet and you have a bunch of followers, it gives you a false sense of community. You start thinking you have a bunch of friends, but you don't. You don't have any real life connections. You don't even have anybody to go to lunch with. You don't have anybody to go to dinner with. You don't have anybody to go try out a new restaurant with. Everyone's too busy doing other stuff. No one has time for you. So we're disconnected as ever. So that's why it's like, that's why you have to get off the internet and touch grass. And some people just want to, they see you, they want to speak to you and talk to you, but they don't have a lot of connections. They don't have a lot of human interactions anymore. And that's why I feel like the internet, it has its benefits, but it should be limited. People should have to learn to talk to other people in real life. That's why I don't like this whole hybrid working from home. I'd rather people be in the office. You have to interact and deal with people in the office, but when you become a recluse, it's bad for your personality. And it drives a lot of people into depression. People are more depressed than ever. More people are on SSIs and antidepressants than ever in human history. And I blame the internet for a lot of that, America doing everything backwards since 1776. Again, unicorn lesbian. Why are you in America then? If it's backwards, go find somewhere that's forward. Okay, how about this, unicorn? If America's been backwards since 1776, name me one country that's not backwards. In your opinion, what's a non-backwards country? Watch this, guys. Let's see what she says. If they think our problem started with Trump, they haven't been paying attention. Hey, JBSU, you're absolutely correct. If they think that's when the problem started, is when Trump became president 13 months ago, they're morons. And that's why you ignore them. You can't really take them seriously. They're not even worth the argument. Malika Diamond said, why would people need to move based on who they love? Should we remove you haters to an island filled with hateful Christians, anti-love? What do you mean? You guys don't love anybody. You guys aren't pro-love anything. When you guys say love is love, you guys are talking about pedophiles. You guys are, 40-year-old people who love 10-year-old kids. That love is love shit it's really just a dog whistle for pedophiles. You guys don't love anything. And even though you consider yourself not a Christian, when you commit suicide, your family's going to bury you in a church. So you're just fooling yourself. You're not actually being honest or being consistent. Our mega haters, you bro, God is crazy. How lost and ignorant people are. White people are very supreme. They hate black people. Brown people are dumb, pedophile supporters. I don't know what that even really means, but again, the white people in the chat appreciate you calling them supreme, but I feel bad for you because that does mean you have a strong inferiority complex that was reinforced by your mother. That's typically when people feel sorry for themselves based on how they were born. That's a feminine trait. So it's kind of like a woman thing. So you might not even be gay, but you're feminine because of your mother. And it's a weakness also. There was no father around to make you be proud of being a man. You were focused on a color. And that's why you see a lot of gay black people. So that's that gay black stuff, which I'm not black, so I don't understand all the gay black stuff. But I see it and I notice it. I don't judge it. You guys being black and gay is your business. It's just sad to see such a waste. You guys could have families, you guys could be Americans, but you guys would rather just be a color and gay. You have no nationality, no ethnicity, no religion, no families, no children. You're just black and gay. And I feel like that's just a waste. But who am I to judge? That's just my opinion. You don't got to live and die by it. You should have stood up a long ass time ago for our vets. I've been speaking out in favor of our vets for years. I speak out and help and try to do what I can because I see a lot of vets. I live in LA, so in downtown LA, there's a lot of veterans on the streets, and I hate the way our government discards them. However, I don't think that just by joining the military, you should be able to just retire automatically. You have to stay in the military and work and build yourself up and get a retirement. Just because you were a vet, you were in the military for 5 years, you're technically a vet, but that doesn't mean you should retire from life and the government has to take care of you forever. There has to be at least some level of personal responsibility. If you're living on the streets and you decide to get into drugs, I can't blame the American government. You're still an adult. You're still an adult and you made that decision on your own. Another person with opinions who are way above. Yeah, I'm not being paid for my opinions. This is just my opinions. I'm giving you these opinions for free. So there's no pay grade here. I'm giving you my opinions for free. I have a couple of sponsors I do ad reads for, but I'm not being paid to talk to you. You didn't hire me. These are my opinions to you on the house. Okay? So don't worry about it. You don't got to pay me anything. These are pro bono. You alienating your peers, an example of who needs to leave. Anyone casting stones needs Jesus. You know what's crazy? Even Jesus wasn't an American. Did you know that? Jesus lived in a different country. So Jesus wasn't even an American. So that means you don't have to be an American. You can go live somewhere else. You don't have to be here. You can you can go live in the country Jesus is from if you care. You don't have to live here in the United States. It's not the only country on earth. This dude has the mentality of someone who's amazing. Thank you. This guy doesn't even understand the oath veterans take. I'm not a veteran, so I wouldn't understand the oath. Absolutely right. Thank you, Bridgestown Wisdom. Some of the so-called welfare junkies have paid taxes and paved the way for you and others to work. Nah, I've never seen it. That's a lie. The welfare junkies didn't pay a way for anything. They couldn't even pave a way for themselves. They couldn't pave a way for their own kids. They don't even have kids, or their kids are in prison. The only thing that these welfare junkies have paved is a path to hell for the American population, which is why now we are rejecting Black culture. And if that means also rejecting Black people, then so be it. We see the results of listening to them. They told us to vote for Biden and Kamala Harris. And what did we get from that? Because of that, we'll never trust another Black person again. Don Lemon told us that Joe Biden was at his top peak mental performance. We will never trust another Black person ever again. Ever. Unicorn mullet is you're gonna get the top commenter badge for tonight. I don't understand. If you're so triggered, like, okay, you're a citizen, you don't have to be in this live, and you don't have to be in this country. But it's like you're refusing to leave the live, and you're refusing to leave the country. So I'm starting to think that you actually like it, and you're just, it's a misnomer. You mean you love America, and you mean you love Rico Limbaugh, and so you, but hate means love, and love means hate. So it's kind of like you have a dyslexia thing, because it seems like you love my chat and you also love my country. And if that's the case, then you're basically it's reverse. You're dyslexia. And if that's and in that situation, that's fine. I'm welcome. You're welcome to stay in my country. You're welcome to stay in my live. I appreciate you being here. Smooches to you and to the rest of the lesbians. I know you guys are out there every day sewing, doing kitten mittens, and making hamster beanies or whatever lesbians do. You guys do a lot of knitting, a lot of scissoring. You go to Michael's, get some cardboard, some scissors. So I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Let's see here. You are. Oh, you're spelling your correctly. Thank you. Do say we've been doing everything backwards since 776, yet somehow we literally are the number one power in the world. I think your brain's upside down. We're exactly. You know, it's funny. People will look at us as number one in the world and try to give us advice. But yet, if you go look at their personal lives, they don't have the results to show us that they even know what they're talking about. All they can show us how to do is fail. All they can teach us how to do is lose. Do we really need help learning to lose, learning to fail? I don't think so. So why would we listen to you? You don't even have the results to prove you know what you're talking about. You have zero results. So no, you're right. Legendary Perry. Hey, remember Legendary, I got to bring you back on because you have some good takes. Follow the channel, subscribe to the channel, like the video. That way I can keep track of you guys and we can all, do our think tank and we can have these conversations with people of like mind. Me sitting here arguing with the liberals, I love to do it because, well, this is what Charlie Kirk used to do. I don't ban them. I don't block them. I don't put them on timeout. I literally engage with them because this is what Kirk used to do. He would say, bring on your best libs. I'm telling the internet right now on YouTube, 6:40 in the morning, bring me your libs. Bring the libtards. I will sit here and argue with them. I will debate them. I will speak to them directly. Charlie Kirk, the reason people loved him because he didn't shy away from the gays and he didn't shy away from telling the blacks the truth about themselves. Black people consider the truth as racist. Black people consider marriage as racist. Black people consider feeding their children as racist. Black people consider paying their bills as being one of the hallmarks of white supremacy. They literally say it on the internet every single day. I believe them. That's not racist because I repeat back to them what they're saying. Charlie Kirk would talk to them directly. Charlie Kirk would talk to the gays. He would talk to the confused liberals. I'm doing the same in my own way. That's it. I'm picking up where Kirk left off. That's all. Kirk would sit there and he would talk to, do you think Charlie Kirk went to college campuses to talk to other conservative kids who had a good head on their shoulders? They had parents that were married. They were relatively smart and advanced and they could think for themselves. No, he was there to talk to the gay and the black and the autistic and the liberals. I'm engaging with them as well. I'm doing my part to pick up where Kirk left off, because a lot of people in my position, we thumb our nose and we look down on those people and we just ignore them and we move on with our lives. But I'm taking time out of my day to address them. So I'm here. I'm doing my part. Unicorn Mullet is an example. She would be an example of one of those that would come up to the mic and call Kirk all these names, and then everybody would boo her, and then she'd say a bunch of shit and storm off. And I'm just sitting there like Kirk, just sitting there with a microphone, and I'm like, just rebuttaling and I can point out a few things. But the conversations are important because they're necessary. See, the issues start when the talking stops. That's when the real problems start, is when the talking stops. So that's why I don't have no problem sitting here and having these conversations. It doesn't bother me at all. I love it. I think it's great. Don't shake your head. Go take a civics class. For what? Civics classes are outdated. Are you a black? I am not. Yes, we do everything backwards. You do everything backwards. You're a lesbian, so you're doing everything backwards. Your lifestyle is backwards. My wife's grandfather was in the Japanese camp. Yeah, and if he was alive when they were giving out reparations, they would have paid him for putting him there. But his great great granddaughter wouldn't get any money because he was in a camp years ago. There wouldn't even be proof. Think about it with paternity fraud. People don't know who their real parents are. They don't have DNA tests. You don't even know if you're giving reparations to the right person. So none of that shit matters. If you weren't the person directly affected by it, you're not getting a penny. You're going to get a piece of dick. That's all you're going to get. A piece of paper. Somebody's going to do a drawing of a penis on it, and that's what you're going to get. That's your reparations. What's with you ass munchers always telling people to leave? Because if you don't like the country, go find a country you like. That's it. Why are you still here if it's so bad? That's why we don't take you seriously, and we know you're lying. You just say it's bad for attention because you want us to talk to you, not because it's true. Therefore, the conversation's over. We won. America first. You love America. You're saying one thing, but you're doing another. It's kind of like the people that we call dinos. You're a Democrat in name only. You claim to be a Democrat, yet you're not gay. You're not married to a man. You have children, and you pay bills. So how are you a Democrat? You live a Republican lifestyle. You just call yourself a Democrat. So we call them a dino. Democrat in name only. Yeah, you're sitting here talking about you don't want to leave and this, but yet here you are. You're still in this country. You're pretending you hate the country, but you won't leave the country. So obviously you're a patriot. You're obviously a patriot, conservative, Trump supporter. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't live under Trump. You would go live under whatever other government, insert government here that you actually think is better. And I keep asking you people, name a country better than the United States. And the reason you won't answer is because I'm going to ask you, well, why don't you live there? You don't want to have a circular conversation, so you shy away from it. You make your little points, then you leave, which is fine. You can do that, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, he's a high-ranking member. Absolutely. We have one of the lowest educational programs in the world. That's true. That's a very good fact, actually. We do. Just because education is not promoted here in the United States because of black culture. Black culture promotes being stupid, being ignorant, being dumb. You're not cool if you're smart because black culture has now superseded American culture. To be smart is an American thing. Slavery is on record. No, it's not. No, it's not. Those records, that's not slavery being on record. That's people being on record. And those records have people from different countries and different races and different colors. There's no records of black slaves only being, that's bullshit. And it's an excuse you tell yourself, but it's not true. And you don't have any evidence of it. You would have to go find another black person that's a liar, and you guys will lie to each other. There's nobody else who's not black that can independently verify your findings because it's fake. It's bullshit. That's why it only works with other blacks. You guys can lie to each other, bullshit each other, scam each other. and then you eventually try to kill each other. That's your circle of life. That's how you guys live in your society. And we pay for it with our tax dollars so that you guys can get subsidized housing, subsidized food, welfare, and I have to pay for it, which I'm sick of doing that. So we're not going to do it anymore. Can't have universal health care and spend $1 trillion a year on military. Universal health care is a bad idea because the countries that offer universal health care, they also offer maids, medical assistance, and dying suicide because it's very expensive and it's unsustainable to have universal health care. Therefore, to save money, they now offer suicide to people. You offer death because you don't have enough money to pay for their medical services. Canada, the UK, all have failed universal healthcare systems, and now they're offering death. Death. Nat Geo was legit back in the day. Don't sleep on it. No, absolutely not. I thought Nat Geo was great. I'm just saying, if you want your Publishers Clearinghouse reparations check, you got to make sure you have 3 magazine subscriptions. Don't you remember Publishers here in the Clouds? Was it Bob Barker? Who was the guy from Publishers Clearinghouse? You guys don't remember this right here? Let's see if I can bring it up for you. Let's see here. Publishers Clearinghouse. Let's see here. Let's see here. Publishers Clearinghouse winning commercial. Let's see if you guys don't remember this.
What's the new Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes doing over there?
Cluttering my desk.
Don't you know you could win $2 million?
Those contests aren't for real.
That's what we used to think.
But this check is real.
This is your reparations check right here. Now, to qualify for the Publishers Clearinghouse reparations check, you had to have multiple magazine subscriptions. And that's how they would tell you, you make sure you stay subscribed so you can qualify for that $2 million Publishers Clearinghouse check. And they used to mail people these fake checks. And when you open it, they'll tell you you're almost going to win. You need to subscribe to 3 magazines. So Nat Geo, Time, and Vogue, or I don't know, name another magazine.
It's just a big come on.
That's what I used to think.
Do you know what this argument means?
Look, this is your reparations check, you guys. Look, it says reparations, right? You guys can't read, just like Gavin Newsom. So I'll read it to you. Reparations checks for blacks. That's what it says. If somebody's gonna lie to you and say it says Publishers Clearinghouse, it doesn't say that. It says reparations check for blacks. That's why you see a black house. That's not an envelope. That's a black house. Okay, so this is your reparations check right here. Just wait for it. Just keep waiting.
To you, millions of dollars. So stop making excuses. Enter the one and only Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes.
Those people really want you to get your reparations. They really want you to get it. And you're going to get it. You're going to get it. This is going to be you when your reparations check gets there, okay? This is right here is a reenactment of you once your reparations check hit. This is going to be you. Look, check this out. They're going to pull up in a fresh-ass van like that one, too. Ooh, you guys are going to win. You're going to get reparations. Reparations. They're going to give you so much reparations. Oh, my God. They're going to put barbecue sauce in the bag, too. So you're going to get a bag full of money, and there's going to be sauce in there. Barbecue. It's going to be in the bag. It comes with the reparations. I don't write them. I'm just telling you, I've seen it. It's on the commercial. Watch. See, due to racism, they used white actors, but this is really reenacting blacks getting their wealth, their reparations check. I love how there's no DEI. They are not putting no fake black gay families in here to make black people feel good. This is when America was great. There was no DEI commercials, no forced diversity, no inclusion. I want to be included. Included in what? You beg for everything and you steal. What are you included in? You're not even included in society. You live outside of society. So, but this is for your reparations. Let's keep going. Go ahead, Grandma. Give him a reparations hug. 10 million. That's not enough. You need more than that for reparations, because then when you burn through that 10 million, you're going to come back to the government and say, that wasn't enough. I know I signed off on it, but I need more. We're going to protest. And that's why they're not going to give you shit. Because you guys are untrustworthy anyway. Scammers. Let's see. We got any other? Let's see here. Winning moments. This is your reparations check right fucking here. It's on its way. Okay. It's on you. The reparations check is in the mail, but because Trump and the war in Iran, the post office is running a little slow. So, but just wait. Just keep waiting for your reparations. Hold on. Let's go. Oh, boo! Hell no! 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 Take her. She wasn't supposed to be in this goddamn commercial. See, now publishers are here clear. Now it's a scam. What the fuck is she doing in this commercial? God damn it. God. We need another commercial. We got to get back to the drawing board, okay? Because, Ed McMahon, you screwed us. Why is she in there? We got to do better. Okay, look, let's find another commercial. There better not be none in here. There better not be one.
From Maryland.
Oh, no, that's the first person. Oh, God damn it. This is a scam. Look, this is a problem. This is a problem. Look, this is a reparations check that's coming. Now they're saying some people got the reparations check early. This is...
Think about your daydreams and what you would do.
Another one?
You kidding me?
What the fuck is he doing? Now they're giving out reparations to Pacific Islanders too? Fuck.
Publishers Clearinghouse, the house where dreams come true.
Way too much diversity in that goddamn commercial. We got to go back to the 70s. Where's the 70s Publishers Clearinghouse? Where is the old school? That's what I want. The old school Publishers Clearinghouse. There we go. This is getting no older than this. Let's go.
Here's the secret, folks, of where to win the biggest sweepstakes prize of all time.
Wonderful. Not a lick of diversity. Diversity is a weakness. Just ask the NBA. Ask the NFL. There's no diversity on the court, no diversity in the field. Diversity is a weakness. This was when things were good and stable and made sense. We do not need all that DEI bullshit when it comes to these reparations checks. But this is when your reparations check's going to come. When your Publishers Clearinghouse check gets there, it's also going on the back of it's going to say reparations too. And you just sign off on it and you get your money.
American family, join us. Tim Blakely and Rebecca Wright won millions of dollars. Now you can win.
See, I like those good old American names that I can pronounce. Ain't no Bonshakwa or Timothy Gobauskowitz. Cats. Bunch of Israeli names. Netanyahu. I want just regular, good old apple pie American names when I'm getting my reparations checks and we're writing them out to you people. I just want to see American names on there. It's too many foreigners jumping on our reparations, right? So let's do it right the first time.
$10 million only from American Family. No other sweepstakes with a prize this big.
Oh man, it says American Family. So that means a lot of black people won't qualify. You guys don't have families. You guys aborted your kids. You don't believe in marriage. You're communists. You're Marxists. You're gay. If it's only for American families, then man, you guys are African Americans. So you're not American, you're an African American. And that's a whole completely different country. I don't know where African America is on the map, but you guys say it a lot. And Jesse Jackson said that's where you're from. You're from African America. So that's why when you say you're an African American, because you're from African America, like if you're a Mexican, you're from Mexico. So if you're an African American, you're from Africa, African America. It's a different country. It's not the United States. So, man, now I think your reparations check might be in trouble because you can't go back and change your birth certificate or how you signed your name initially. And this is for Americans. I don't know. I think it might be a problem. It might be an issue with your registration. So now I might not be able to guarantee you reparations anymore. Sad face. Sad face. Back to the drawing board. Let's see if we got some more missiles.
Day 3 of the war.
You know what? If there are some people here that enjoy my sense of humor, subscribe to the channel, like the video. This is funny as hell. I get on here and I talk and I make fun of people and their reparations check every day. At the end of my life, I try to talk about reparations. I try to talk about black people and their reparations checks. So I'm literally sitting here having these guys. I think it's a funny topic. They believe in it. I don't. And every day I'm proven right. So I just want to keep bringing it up and beating the hell out this horse. It died a long time ago, but the horse gave me a funny look. So we're going to keep beating it. But I think it's hilarious. So I appreciate like we got to have some fun. It's fun watching black people be mad at everything in the world and blame everything. That's funny. That's hilarious. You don't got to pretend that you don't laugh. Like, laugh, it's okay. Don't let them rob your joy the way you rob their welfare check and their reparations by making it for Americans only. And they're Africa Americans. That's a different country. They don't get it. They don't get the reparations. They don't get it. I don't know. I think it's funny. But maybe they can, if they do get the check, maybe they can use it to buy America some more missiles that we can shoot back at Iran.
And a troubling question is emerging in Washington. Is the United States burning through its most expensive missiles faster than it can replace them? U.S. forces have intercepted hundreds of Iranian ballistic missiles and drones targeting American bases and allies across the Middle East. The U.S. military is relying on advanced air defense systems like Patriot, THAAD, and ship-based interceptors.
No way we just went down memory lane and we watched Publishers Clearinghouse videos from 100 years ago about reparations. Oh, this is classic. I don't know. This is probably one of my favorite lives in a while.
I will personally award this giant cash fortune. Be sure to enter the sweepstakes with my picture. Join us! Millions and millions of dollars. All for you. My picture. Join us! Millions.
Oh, that's where you disqualify. It's for American families. You guys aren't Americans. Almost got your reparations. Almost. You were this close from reparations. I promise you were that close.
And millions of dollars. All for you.
It was all for you, too. If only you were an American, but instead you're an African American.
Folks, the Dubai.
Almost. You were this close to getting reparations. Fuck. I need that soundboard where it goes, fuck, they makes that noise. I'm gonna get a soundboard with all the different sounds and stuff. I'm gonna get that so I can be more interactive on my lives, because right now that would be the funniest time to play that sound. Hilarious. This close to getting your reparations. You almost, like, you could taste it. It was almost there. It was like right. Ed McMahon, he wrote it up. He got you. He had your name. A couple of typos, but he wrote your name down. Then they had to just throw in that American. Damn it. Better luck in Nigeria. Next.
To stop those attacks. But every interception uses costly high-tech missiles, and experts warn that a prolonged conflict could begin to strain American interceptor stockpiles.
I think it is, I'll grant the administration this, it is way too early, 48 hours in, for cost estimates.
You know what, Freckled? That's the game of semantics. Well, let's not play semantics, okay? Let's just go with the flow, okay? There's no semantics, okay? Oh man.
Clearly, when you combine the efforts of the amount of munitions that we have spent over the last year attacking the Houthis, the amount of munitions that's been spent on other ventures, I think the 7 different military conflicts the president has put America into, our munitions are low.
So that's how we got to reparations. We were hoping that if you get your reparations check, you guys can help America buy some more missiles, because we've been funding wars in all over the world and giving away all of our missiles, and where our munitions are low. We gave a lot of stuff to Ukraine. We gave it to Israel. We gave it to Azerbaijan. We gave it to Cambodia and the Philippines. So we don't really have missiles ourselves. So if you get your reparations check, we're trying to see how much y'all got on it. You know, maybe 5 a piece, or you got some. We ask you to use some of your reparations to put something on it. You don't got to put the whole thing. We just need something. We need you to put a little something on it so we can afford to buy some missiles, so we can continue to bomb Iran. We need some on it. Just put a little something on it. That's all. Just a little taste. We just need a taste of your reparations so we can buy missiles. That's how we got to that topic.
Public knowledge. It will require additional funding. Funding where we have other.
No, unfortunately, I wasn't born to a black family, so there's no reparations. There's no reparations on our horizon. We're immigrants, so we came to this country. The money we generate in taxes, they would have theoretically pulled that money and then paid you guys reparations, but we don't have shit coming. And then we're not communists like you guys, so we don't beg. We're not waiting for something. You know, we would do something called work. I know that's a foreign word to you, and it's actually a word you might consider to be racist. Work is racism for you. I listen to what you guys say. Even being employed is racist. Having a boss that's white is racism. I've read what you guys said, and so and that's why some of these words seem a little foreign to you. But no, we work. It's different.
Domestic needs as well.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio has also acknowledged the scale of Iran's missile buildup, warning that Tehran's production capacity far exceeds the rate at which U.S. interceptors can be manufactured.
They are producing, by some estimates, over 100 of these missiles a month. Compare that to the 6 or 7 interceptors that can be built a month.
Analysts estimate Iran may have entered the war with roughly 2,500 ballistic missiles, meaning the battle is becoming a race between Iran launching missiles and the U.S.
Well, at least the Irish are Americans now. So the Irish have no problem. The Irish the Irish refer to themselves as Americans. They're not ashamed of it. They love the flag. They stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. They don't take a knee. So the Irish are Americans now, but those others, not so much.
and Israel destroying launchers and storage sites before they can be fired. At the same time, the United States is also expending offensive weapons. U.S. Navy destroyers have launched Tomahawk cruise missiles against Iranian targets, weapons that are also considered critical for any future conflict with China. For now, U.S. officials say defenses are holding and the operation is progressing. But if the war drags on, the fight may test not just military power, but also how long America's missile arsenal can sustain the battle.
And the answer is 9 days. We have roughly 9 days left of munitions to sustain the battle from air. And then we're done. Iran has 11 to 12 months to maintain bombing 15 countries at once. They have 12 months. And that's not even including their resupplies from China and the Russians. There's no draft right now, Tony. And you can't make America go away. We're a country, and this is where we are located on the map. So we can't go anywhere. This is where we are. You can leave. You can go somewhere else. But we can't leave. This is where we're a country. It's a place. It's not a person. You can't pack up America and leave. This is America. I don't think you understand how that works. But this has been great. This has been a lot of interaction. We've been on live now for about 4 hours. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go get a breakfast burrito. I'll be back in about 30 minutes. I have like 3 other topics we were supposed to go over, but this one it spun out of control, went into a bunch of things. And then we had like a small comedy hour at the very end, which was funny. I'm here to talk to the liberals. So I'll be back on with another topic in about 20 minutes. I'm here to argue with the libs. Find me your best, most competent liberals. Bring them to me. Bring them here. Share the video, share the live, subscribe to the channel. I want your libs. I want your best ones to come in, and I want them to debate me on these topics. I want them to explain to me Gavin Newsom's bill to protect pedophiles. I want them to explain to me the logic behind reparations. And then we're going to go over these news topics that I'm going to bring up, that we're going to do a story upon. Feed me your libs. Bring them here. Charlie's not here anymore. I want your libs. I want to talk to your libs. I want your libs here. And come one, come all. I want them to come far and wide. Bring them here. Share this video. Share the live. I'm Rico Limbaugh. I'll be back on live in about 30 to 35 minutes. So remember, everybody, it's America first, and it's America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.